All right, so I think the stream thinking about things ready to go though. So hello everybody, Megan ZardX here. Back at it again to give you another very exciting podcast episode. That being my ZardCast episode 69, which yes, this is the first episode of the new year. We're back from the break. You know, that holiday special with episode 68. That was the last one last year. Brand new year, entering into 2024. Got to start things off right. Got to start it off right. But like always, I'm not here by myself. I got my good buddy over here, Steven. How's it going, man?
It's going good. Happy 2024.
Man, oh man. Well, before we get into the thick of things tonight, though, you got any New Year's resolutions, anything like that?
My two New Year's resolution. Okay, I have three of them. I have losing weight, which the first step of that is completely cutting off soda from my diet. I have going back to school eventually. By the end of this year, I want to at least make the steps to start school or already start school. And then my third one is beating one of my friend's times in a speed run of Pizza Tower
Goodness, oh goodness.
because I wanna just get back at him.
Pretty good. That's some pretty solid goals right there. Pretty
Yeah.
solid. I'm kind of
S-
like with you. I can't cut soda completely out, but I can probably cut it down at least a bit more than what I am. But I do, and it's hard to start this mess. I like how everybody always says, lose weight and stuff, and sometimes they break the New Year's resolution like before February comes around or
It's
whatever.
less
Though,
about it's less about not being able to and more about not wanting to. Some people just
yeah,
don't want to. Like, I like soda. Why would I want to stop drinking it? Some people think the trade-off of your health is worth it. And for me, sometimes I do think that, but recently it's been like, nah, I should probably stop before it's a big issue. Cause like I'm 20, I can reverse it now. But
yeah,
like,
better to get ahead of the game versus those people that are
yeah,
probably in their late 40s, somewhere in the 50s, and it's like extremely hard for them to stop. Yeah, that makes sense. But I kinda like what I know I need to cut that back, so I probably will be able to. But the one thing I really wanna work on is I know I can build a little bit more muscle than where I am right now, probably build a little bit more endurance though, so hitting the gym, but it's always so hard to do that mess, during the wintertime because I feel like I can do quite a bit at home or in my neighborhood, but obviously when it's freezing cold out right now. Like we literally had snow like a few days ago, and then turn around. I think it's supposed to snow again on Tuesday. Turn around again. It's supposed to snow again here on Friday, and I think it's supposed to snow again on the next Monday. So I don't know where all the snow is coming out of. I guess we slept in December, and then now Mother Nature's waking up like, all right, here's all the snow in January. I don't know where this is coming from, but it's hard to get
snow
out.
miser.
Yeah, I guess so though. But that's
No, but
one thing I want to kind of work on though.
it snowed today over here surprisingly, but it was like raining mixed with snowing.
Okay, okay.
But yeah, gym I could never do. I go to the gym for 1 hour. He feel it for 3 days.
That's why you gotta rotate between upper body and lower body. If you keep doing the same muscles over and over, then that's what kinda wears you down. And
I
obviously, you gotta
guess,
do
yeah.
your protein and stuff and build it. It's a whole routine going up into that.
It's a lifestyle. It becomes a lifestyle more than anything, and I'm just not into that at the
Yeah.
moment.
But I guess that's enough, in terms of what we've been up to and stuff. So you got to hear some of our New Year goals and stuff. Come back and ask us the same question again next year when we're on like episode, oh, I don't know, it'll be like close to 80 something. And then see if we can, well, not 80, it'll probably be actually, well, shoot, we're almost on 70. It'll be
90.
90 something or close to
Yeah.
100. But,
It'll be 90 something.
yeah. And then we'll see how well we did on that though. But this episode is going to be a pretty good one. We're going to go ahead and kick off our series for our year end reviews. And I did this last year, where we go through the whole entire year and just dissect it month by month, see what games we had that came out, and just kind of give our quick thoughts on it, or just recognition because we know how big it is, even though we might not personally have too much to say about it, but maybe we heard about some things in the lead up the launch or stuff that happened during the launch, post game, and all that extra stuff, though. So, this episode, when we hit that segment, we'll talk about all the games between January up to June. And then in the next episode, for episode 70, we'll talk about all the games from July to December for 2023, though. But besides just that main segment, we got some couple interesting things within the pop culture world and a few gaming topics to talk about. And I know I said, when I sat down and said this it was either the last episode or the episode before last, usually late December, early January, there's not a lot of news that went down. And whole shoot, I jinxed it with that Insomniac leak. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that leak whenever we get to
Yeah.
that segment of the show, though.
And
But I was like, "Oh shoot!"
I don't think we should have a whole segment about it, but like, yeah, I'll say it now. There were a couple like weird, like kind of I don't know rumors about the Switch 2, but nothing major. Like, oh, it's gonna cost $400. Of course it is. It's
Yeah,
like the only other thing.
and we could probably allude to that. I feel like I know the time is coming here fairly soon.
We're gonna have a whole like we're gonna have like a whole speculation period about it coming up anyway. We'll talk about that Switch 2,
Yeah,
but
and even whenever they do announce it, or if they say, like, even if it's a Twitter post or some kind of allusion to it, or even if it's a snippet reel that we kind of got with the what was it, the NX when we got its first reveal.
yeah.
I don't know. I might get you, Steven, and we'll just have a complete show that's just kind of off the records, calling an over whatever. Though I'll sit down with you and we'll just, shoot the stuff with everything that we got up in there. Though, but I
Hell
feel like
yeah.
this is the year. This is gonna be the year. It has to be.
Course it'd be stupid if it isn't. Like just everybody is just waiting now.
Yeah. Whew, all right. So I guess that's a long enough winded intro though, but we might as well go ahead and jump up in it though. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight up into that culture segment. All right, so we got to talk about this one meme right here. We're barely even 3 years into the brand new year, and whole shoot, Judge Judy got jumped. Okay, well that might not be her actual
Not
name,
Judge
though,
Judy. Yeah.
but the judge has been jumped. I don't know how they like. I think I randomly saw this on CBS News, and this was saw it on CBS News somehow before Twitter, and I was like, "Wait, what the heck?" And then I started scrolling through Twitter, and I just saw all these memes about this thing. Though apparently, this dude was like getting sentenced to jail time, and I guess he might have had some mental issues and some other things kind of going on. Though he was trying to get his life kind of back in, life together and whatnot. Though he was trying to kind of give that pitch, I would say, to the judge, and she wasn't buying it. And I could tell she was instigating that man. The way how she said that snarky remark, you didn't have to say it to that man like that. That's why you got jumped. I'm just keeping it a buck 50 with you though. And this dude, they should have hired this man for the Olympics. He should have been on a sports team or whatever. I've been in a court case before. And gosh by golly, the height difference between the floor and the top of that stand where that judge is at. Oh shoot. I want to say it's at least 5 foot something. I don't know
He made a
how
jump.
like,
Yeah.
that dude must have had some clean pair of Jordans or something, cause I don't know what the heck. Oh my gosh. That was just crazy, and then all the memes we got after this, though, but what do you think about this whole thing, Steven?
Well,
This is just
the
freaking
the
hilarious.
the judge was a little bit like snarky, like what was it like it was like saying about like getting used to like a new taste of something or well, it was like something like
It was
that.
something like that. It was like,
But
I
like
think you should get a taste of something else or something like that.
yeah, yes, it was that. But like because I don't know, like on one hand, like yeah, she was kind of like egging him on a bit, but on two things. One, he is a repeat offender. I could understand being a little exhausted dealing with someone like that. And also, it's still the judge, no matter what you think. If I was pissed off at the judge, I'm not gonna attack the judge. That's not how you handle that.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not what you
Like,
handle, and you know what? That probably puts you in there for life
yeah,
for a
if he no,
good reason.
if he truly meant what he said, he would have ignored a stupid ass remark like that. You'd think, like,
Either
oh,
that or
I've
you
changed and
can
this and
call her
that.
out on it, but, in
Like
a
that,
much more
yeah,
clean, full, respectful way than that.
he could have literally just even if he yelled at her, he could have said, now that remark is uncalled for or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. But,
Yeah,
like,
like no, but like he just jumped at her and he was like going for he was relentless. They had to like pull him off.
Yeah, they had to pull this man off because, like, he literally somehow he got because I know how a court cases, and this just made me think of all the Ace Attorney. There was an Ace Attorney meme on this one too, like when he jumped him and pulled her to the ground and stuff. Like someone put the main pursuit theme on there. That was funny right there though. But like this dude somehow managed to get from where that table they usually was staying with their lawyer and stuff. Managed to get from there past the cop that's usually kind of somewhere kind of in the front keep things like this from happening. And when he jumped, did you see that video, Steven? He managed to kick the cop, so he fell back over, and he still managed to clear the obstacle, and still managed to get the judge. And I don't know why that judge was reacting so slow. He could have got out the way faster than that. Like, come on, man. If I saw
It's
that
an
dude
old.
come into me, I would have easily pushed the man back, or I would
It
have been
was
halfway gone.
it was an old lady. Like I get it. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like even that old, I'm like, I don't know, some kind of adrenaline got to kick in or
Yeah.
something.
So I just seen this. The man that attacked the Las Vegas judge is now facing 13 new charges. Was it worth it? Is the better question.
For us, kinda. For him, no. This is crazy because literally, I guess because it always takes something bad to happen like this in order to make things better. Like this scenario I'm about to bring up is not funny or anything like that though. But like the events that happened within 9/11 or whatnot though, like you think about security. Security was really lacking, should I say, prior to that year. And then
Well,
since
that's
then, we
how.
had a lot of other things improved from this. I feel like with this event right here, it's definitely going to beef up security, probably in a lot of different court hearings from this point moving forward. Though I don't know if they're going to have to put like
Yeah.
something up on the front or have like an extra like layer that's like locked off a little bit
Yeah.
taller, so he had to hop like two hurdles in order to get to her or something like that. Something else is going to
Things.
come out of this
Yeah.
situation.
Unfortunate situations lead to stuff like this. Like, 9/11 forces security up. And, like, think about how many situations. It's like, on one hand, yeah, it really does suck. Like, what happens sometimes because of, oversights like this. But hopefully it means that, we can do better in the future. Like, security ever since 9/11 has been a lot tighter, and I feel like that's for good reason. Like it's probably prevented a lot of situations from happening again like that. And I feel like this is gonna cause a whole. I feel like this becoming so viral is gonna cause a whole new thing. I feel like there's gonna be like like some kind of like chain, not chain, but like some kind of screen to protect the judge.
Yeah, I feel like despite all of this that happened, we're playing around and joking around with this. Obviously, luckily she didn't get hurt. She just might have got tossed around a little bit though. But from the reports I kind of got, both me and you, she
Yeah,
wasn't actually harmed. So that was the good
because
positive thing.
he like he calls her a bitch or whatever, and then he jumps at her, and he keeps going. He's relentless. If he was not stopped, he would have severely damaged her.
Yeah,
He like yeah, like I feel like he would have definitely done something when provoked, and he's like he's already attacking a law figure. He's going away for a while no matter what. He could have done anything.
yeah.
So thank God everyone was all right, and hopefully he. Oh, he's definitely gonna be away for a while, but like hopefully he understands what he did. I hope there's not people trying to defend him saying that, he's a victim in this cuz, he was, the judge was being snarky,
Well, I
this
don't
and
think
that.
so. But
I hope yeah,
but
stupid.
even looking through all the Twitter stuff and all the memes and stuff, like the ones I found that were funny was there was one with the Ace Attorney theme up on there. There was a Smash Brothers one. I literally saw it right before going live with this podcast episode. That was pretty funny. What else did I saw? I know. Oh, there was one that was like a group of people that actually made a skit out of the whole entire scenario. I can't say what the name of it is. I know retweeted it on my Twitter account though, but it was like a whole group of people, and they had like the judge, some other girl that was basically acting like her or whatever. It was a funny skit or whatever though. They even had like a whole bunch of people that jumped up in the thing. They even had like a baby. It's like, hold the baby, let me climb up in there and reenact this revenge on this judge. I don't know. I've seen some crazy things out there. Have you seen any other funny memes on this one?
Yeah, I've seen like, his lawyer and it's just a guy like staring profusely.
Goodness.
Like just the lawyer just having the like save major face. It's mostly people talking about like, feeling bad for the lawyer.
Yeah.
Like dude in the black suit is probably making absolutely no noise with those punches. Like the guy that was trying to protect the judge or like take the guy off. I've seen like, it's like fuck around and find out, a lot of people saying.
Oh yeah, you're definitely right. And that's what I was gonna say in order to close this thing. You know what? When you mess around, you know you're gonna find out because literally that statement was probably what caused this man to jump. He kind of knew it was coming. I doubt he would have jumped on her had she
Yeah.
not said that snarky comment right there.
See,
I'm just saying, when you mess around, you're about to find out.
I seen one. How my guy going into his cell and it's someone jumping into a dumpster.
Oh yeah, I saw that one too. That was pretty good right there. That was pretty
Stupid.
good. Oh shoot. But yeah, so I think that's pretty much it on that one meme though. I don't know if we'll have a meme of the month going from this point forward from like January to February, but 3 days into the new year we already had this one. So I'm like, hey, this year.
2023 had
Oh dear.
20. I'll be honest. 2023 had some awful memes.
Yeah, I think it
Like
did. Like
like
nothing really
skibbity
stood
like
out. Yeah.
skibbity toilet and grimace shake
Oh, the
and
shape. Oh, I remember that.
like he just had stupid stuff, man.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we're back to the golden time because I remember back in my days when I was in school, we had good memes to almost count for every single month of the year. It ain't like that no more. So I don't know.
I'd probably say the most interesting meme last year was maybe like Barbenheimer, just because of all the funny collab art that came out of it.
Mhm.
But yeah, hopefully this year's better.
Yeah. Hopefully so. Hopefully so. All right. Well, that's about it in terms of Judge Judy over there getting jumped. But we're already on the negative train, so we might as well keep it going though. And this is part of my Marvel segment. Got a couple of things though, but this is the big one right here though. But out of the fire, out of the skillet into the fire, I would say though. But yes, Jonathan Majors, yes, has been fired since the last time we had our last episode though. Obviously, we knew him for being King the Conqueror in the Ant-Man movies, and and his couple portrayals that he had within the Loki series for season 1 and season 2 and stuff. And it is disappointing. I would say because I feel like this dude had a lot of potential, but given everything that was kind of showcased off in the court hearings and stuff with the situation he was in, he kind of saw where things were kind of pointing to. I think I've been seeing some wording that I think Marvel is not going to necessarily drop the character overall. They're going to do like a rehire for him because I think they had too many things going on with King the Conqueror, or they're just going to completely drop it or whatever. Though they're just going to kind of keep it hush hush until they get everything situated and ironed out and stuff. But nonetheless, kind of disappointing though. But you got anything to piggyback on that?
Um, no.
All right. Well, I thought I kinda kept it pretty straightforward. It was just kind of a simple thing though, but, me liking all things Marvel, I had to at least bring it up though. But
I
that oh,
yeah.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I'll be completely honest with you. I didn't even watch any of the stuff he played Kang in.
Well, that's probably why, you can't 100% relate, which is understandable. But I'm
But
like,
like
"Dang."
I've seen the performance. I heard he did a good performance. Like he tried. But like the fact of the matter is that like this one situation that is completely out of Marvel's control is just gonna cause everything to crumble. I guarantee, knowing how like anal they are, I don't know if they're gonna recast Kang. We'll see. Because didn't they already like change the name of Avengers 5? It's rumored to be
I
changed
mean,
now.
possibly. I it's always so hard when you're dealing with the movie industry and stuff. Like gaming industry, I have a really good concept or grasp about how they like to do things, yada yada yada. Though, but with the movie industry, if you look into it too hard, start winding up, getting the plot points, like I start to understand where the direction starts to go, especially if you really get into the nitty gritty of like who's being hired for this, this, and this. I have a good buddy of mine that's really likes to be up in the movie industry. And I was like, I respect the passion because that's just a lot of people keeping up with, at least for me personally, though. But I mean, I feel like they probably will, but we just have to kind of wait and see how it all plays out. But yeah, I think that's about
Yeah.
it in terms of most of the Marvel stuff. Now, I do know that What If season 2 has aired since our last episode, and I
Is he
watched
in it?
2 and not that I know of. I saw the first 2 episodes, and obviously he wasn't in it in those 2 episodes. I had to Google it whether or not he was or was not though. But I only saw 2 episodes prior to this episode or prior to this podcast episode. And I'll go back and watch some more because I think there's like 8 or 9 episodes in total though, but the first 2 were pretty good. They were really good. You hadn't started yet, have you, Steven?
No.
Man, you need to get on that, man, because the reason why I knew I had to make sure I get the ball rolling with this was because of the fact that we have Echo that's literally coming out on Tuesday. All of the episodes are dropping on, one day, not like
That's
staggered over, week over week. It's just, binge fest on day one.
mm, that's the one I'm somewhat interested in.
It got Kingpin in it, so I know you like that dude.
Well, Kingpin's cool. I like Kingpin as a character. I heard that it's gonna be like a serialized drama, people comparing it to Breaking Bad, which is a very interesting comparison to make for an MCU show. But also I kind of like when the Marvel stuff is more down to earth, street level. Makes it more interesting.
Yeah, I definitely feel like you have to kinda have a good mixture of down to earth, and then you can get the weird stuff like your Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
but
You
like
can't go always
even
one extreme or the other. You gotta have a good
yeah.
balance.
But the Guardians movies, even if they are about saving the whole galaxy, like it's a grand scale, but they focus on what they're talking about.
Yeah, it's never,
Like
like, completely out there where it's just uncomprehendable or anything like that.
yeah, like in Guardians Volume 3, they go to a bunch of different places, but there's still a running plot throughout the entire thing and a main villain that, you know, connects it all. Everything in that movie revolves around the main villain. They break, in Guardians 3, they go to the planet that he's creating. They go to like the security place to get the thing for Rocket that he owns. Stuff like that. It all has a central theme. Infinity War was the same way because he's centralizing it around the Infinity Stones, made it so you're going to all these places and it works. But then you have movies like Multiverse of Madness, where like they promise like a big, multiverse chaotic premise, but then you only go to one other universe.
Yeah. And
Like
and
what if is at least interesting with that? What if like focuses on a different one every episode? They all get a focus and then they connect them all.
Yeah, and I always like the different approach with what if, because like what you said, it's condensed. It's a what if scenario. It takes something that you probably knew either from the comics or you knew something about from the movies. It's putting one little twist on it. Like for example, episode 2 was what if instead of Star Lord, instead of Yandu giving him back to his father ego, instead of him, because in the movies we know, and also in the comics, the mainline version we know that he keeps him. He doesn't give him back to his father. But in the what if episode, he
Yeah.
gave him back to his father though. So then it's like, you know, Ego sent him, his son, back to Earth and kind of start his whole seed thing because you know how he's expanding through the universe via those seeds and stuff. So his son was creating havoc and stuff. So with this being back in the past while he was a kid, this wasn't our standard Avengers, but it was like, well, what if we have to gather our strongest people at that given time, though? So you had over there, what was it? T'Challa, I think Black Panther, the one that we all known and grew up with within the movies. His father was there instead of Ant Man. It's Hank up in there. You saw Peggy Carter, even though she wasn't like obviously like British with the shield and stuff. Not that variant though. But like this was after Captain America
Like
sacrificed
old.
himself and he was frozen in the ice. Like she was still associated with the military or that Secret Service thing.
Because this is
Yeah,
like the 90s or 8 oh, yeah, okay, 1988. I'm looking at like the description for
yeah.
the episode.
So she was part of the team as well. Obviously, Thor is in there since Thor is a god. He looks the same no matter what. So he was there. And then who else was there? Bucky, but that was when he was Rogue, still working with Russia and stuff. So he was there. And I'm trying to think of one. And there was like one other assistant I think of Hank who also had that Ant-Man suit. I think it was like one of his associate buddies back in the day. And I think that was like mostly it for the crew though. So imagine, oh no, and there was somebody else associated with Captain Marvel, but
Yeah.
it was a lady. I was scratching my head on that. I was like, wait, what's the connection on this one? I was missing something. But anyway, that was their whole group. So imagine if they were the Avengers before we had our legit Avengers with, Steve and Tony Stark and all of them. But yeah, it was pretty cool.
But yeah, all I'll say is that it does seem a lot more interesting, especially because I just seen this. They actually got back Kurt Russell as Ego in that.
Yeah, I think
Like
they got back a decent
well,
few
they
people up in
try.
there. Yeah, they
Yeah,
try to get some of them back up in
they
there.
always try their best. They got the voice act. They got Bucky. They got Hank Pym. They got uh they got most of the people actually. They got Thor. Like they always try their best, and I think it's really cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. So I think the rest of the season two is gonna hold a lot of promise though. But I think that's about it in terms of our Marvel stuff. Obviously, next week's episode we'll talk about Echo because all the episodes will be out. So I'll give my 2 cents on that one whenever that fully drops though. But I think that's about it in terms of my Marvel stuff as well as all of my pop culture stuff in general though. So we'll go ahead and switch it over to what's in the gaming news. Well, y'all, the deed is done because Tetris has officially been beaten, or at least broken enough to where you can say, well, the game wouldn't let me go any further. And yes, I'm talking about apparently there was a 13-year-old boy that somehow managed to play just enough Tetris, and we're talking about the Tetris version from the NES. Played it and got to such a high level, like his score maxed out like 999,999 or something like that. And the game just basically crashed on him. Like it wouldn't even go that much higher on him. And this is something that has been done with computers doing the game and controlling it automatically and stuff. But in the sense of a human actually doing it, no one else has ever done it since the release of this game. And gosh, I never thought we'll be breaking history this early in the year like this though. But that's something else.
Yeah, like I'm kind of amazed that no one's done it until now. Like I'm looking at the footage, it goes super fast. Like you need a crazy reflexes. I'm more surprised it's a 13-year-old. Like I'm more surprised like there are people that have hundreds of hours in Tetris that have tried for how long to get this. And I'm more surprised it was a kid that did it.
Yeah, and I'm surprised too as well because I think from what I heard, when you get so high up in the levels and those blocks start dropping down insanely fast, you can't normally even, just hold the NES controller normally and tab left and right on the D-pad, the normal way how you move the blocks around because they're moving that fast. You have to do some kind of technique where you're holding the controller like barely with two hands, like, one on the back side, one on the front side, and you wobble that controller in such a way where it's like skipping and it starts to do some weird stuff with the controller in and of itself. Cause you like pressing the controller on like two different sides, and that's what causes you to be able to still move those blocks at that insane rate. There's a lot of techniques that goes up into playing Tetris at this high level once you get that high in the levels though. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh shoot.
I'm looking at it. It's extremely difficult. Bravo to the kid, obviously. And because here's what happens: the color palette starts to fuck up. Is what is the issue. The colors start to change, and sometimes the blocks become harder to see.
Especially when
So
you're
it's
going that fast. Yeah.
well, no. Like literally, the color palette changes and the blocks glitch out. So it basically kind of adds a artificial hard mode. Funny enough, like it's like, and it happens right before the game glitches out. And yeah, I think it's like, yeah, you overload the game to get to that kill screen. He gets to level 100, yeah, like 100 and I don't know what the exact level is. I think it's 155.
Somewhere, yeah, it was somewhere around there.
But yeah, like obviously the game's top score is 1 million, but you can't, he goes past that way early on.
Yeah,
The
so
game
I'm
just cannot the game just cannot keep up at a certain point, and it's just really funny to see.
yeah, and yeah, it's just kind of crazy, like what you said. You know, the fact that nobody pulled this off until him, X amount of years later, and out of all people, it's a 13-year-old boy. Oh, and did you hear about this report too with this story though? Apparently, there was like some lady off of a news channel or something like that, and
Yes.
she was like, "You know what? This is crazy how this boy basically did this stuff though. But you know what? You should go outside." Almost seemed like she wanted to say, "Go outside, touch some grass," and say, "This is not a life accomplishment or anything like that." So she was like giving him some praise, but then took it all back. I was like, "What the heck?"
Imagine, okay, imagine if like a kid, well, no, imagine if like this league of like kids playing baseball beat an actual competitive baseball team, and then someone said that. You know what I mean? Imagine how fucking stupid that would sound. Like, think,
Yeah.
a kid did what how many adults could not. A kid that, like, doesn't get paid to do it, doesn't have people watching him, doesn't have like a reputation, just a kid who really liked the game was able to do something 20, or no, like more than 30 years in the making. And then you make fun of him and go tell him to go touch some grass. No, go fuck yourself. This person has probably never even played a video game in their life. It was like some news anchor.
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy though. But nonetheless, I know she couldn't basically pull it off, and there's no way I would have been able. I still have not yet to this day managed to get a what was it a Tetris
A win.
Maximo, whatever you call it, where you basically win in
Yeah.
Tetris 99. I still have
I've
not been
gotten
able
a
to do
couple.
that because I still
It's
want to
hard
unlock that mode, and I haven't yet to this day. I got Pac-Man, ones and stuff with Pac-Man 99, and they
because
shut that
Pac-Man
service
99 is
down, but.
bad.
It was the only thing I was good at. I still can't beat people in
Well, because
Tetris 99. I
well,
don't know.
because well, because in Pac-Man 99, let's be honest, you don't even really fight people. You just like last as long as you can.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's not like Tetris. You genuinely like, you have to go out of your way to attack people in that game.
Yeah, fair enough though. But nonetheless, this dude, or this boy, deserves a lot of prep work. And don't let anybody tell this dude you can't put this on a resume. You can put that gosh thing on a resume
You know the
for
hand-eye
game testing and all
coordination.
of that, game testers and stuff. Dude, this will definitely pop out on a resume and stuff. So I imagine this kid could probably go some places. I'm just saying.
Okay, people act like this is only a video game thing. Do you not understand the amount of hand-eye coordination and reflexes that this takes?
No, yeah, it
We
does
can
definitely
apply this
require
to
a lot because
anything.
yeah, you can apply it to anything for sure because you're looking at like probably nanoseconds, whatever, milliseconds, whatever,
Yeah,
and in
think
the
about
sense
how
of you see
just
the
think about
block and then you got to realize exactly where it can fall and then get it over there as fast as you can.
well, yeah, just think about how many things need quick reflexes in life. Like, you could be like a stunt man or this and that. You could be, or be like a professional like racer. You need quick reflexes for so many different jobs. This kid will be successful.
Yeah, he will be. So you know what? Chin up,
Good
boy.
for him.
Good for you, boy. Good for you.
He's 13. He's probably gonna go kill all of the other Tetris games now. Good on him.
Probably. At least now he got one in the books. He can work on the next one. No.
Well, yeah, I guess the whole thing is that maybe people have done this with other versions of Tetris, like gotten farther or got it beaten harder, but NES Tetris specifically obviously has like that input lag, I'd have to assume alongside that.
Yeah. Well, you did good, kid. You did good. And I think that's basically it in terms of this part of the segment, though. We got one more gaming news topic to talk about
Oh
before we get into
god.
our year in review. And yes, that is the unfortunate Insomniac Games leak right here. I thought we weren't gonna get no major news happening between late December or early January, and lo and behold, they proved me wrong. They did this mess on purpose. I was debating on even within because I had most of December off because I recorded a bunch of my videos, scheduled them out, so it didn't seem like I was taking a break, but I was, and I was really tempted to come out and say, "Hey, let me just make something and throw it up here on the channel though," because it was really big though. But I was like, I'll just hold off until the next podcast episode and do it here though." But nonetheless, though, gosh dang it, Insomniac. I feel bad for y'all and stuff. And it is really unfortunate to kind of get a lot of your plans revealed and showcased out way before you're wanting to even reveal some stuff, though. But that thought aside, the fact that all that stuff managed to leak out, now we have a bigger picture in terms of the stuff that Insomniac wants to plan. And, you know, you have to take some of this information with a grain of salt because, while yes, maybe the projects are more than likely gonna happen, I would say more than 90% chance they're all likely gonna happen. The
Of
timetables for
course
it
they
could
will.
always tweak. They could always be changed. Who knows what's the date or timestamp on any of this information though. But according to all of this stuff, we always know that Wolverine was going to be the next game up on the docket, though. And it's not ideally supposed to be scheduled for this year. It's supposed to be coming out in the year of 2025. So you have that to look forward to. Then there was, yeah, yeah, this is out for everybody now. A spin-off game for Venom that's in the works as well, and that's supposed to be like what a year after that. And then we also know our Spider-Man 2 games in the works. We know the next Ratchet and Clank, I was about to say Ripped Apart, but this Ratchet and Clank game, that's also in the cards as well, along with some other X-Men games after what would be Wolverine and stuff. I won't say the specific year. You can kind of do all your digging up in that, but that's just the future plans for
And like a new
Insomniac
IP, right?
and the new IP.
Something
Yeah,
about
and
it.
that's I feel like that's
All I'm
almost a decade away, but yeah,
Yeah, all I'm gonna say is, of course there's gonna be a Spider-Man 2. 3,
or
I mean.
3, you mean?
Of
Yeah.
course there's gonna be a Spider-Man 3. Like, I haven't even beaten Spider-Man 2 yet, but I know for a fact that they probably tease something at the end of it. Let's be honest,
They did. I won't say what it is for those that
but
hadn't though,
like,
but it's
yeah,
interesting the way how they did set it up.
it's gonna be interesting, and guess what? I do feel bad for the other part of this leak that I'd say is much, much worse.
The whole Wolverine stuff and that demo build
Everything
going around.
Yeah, everything involving Wolverine. It's not even like footage of the demo got leaked. It's not like GTA 6 where GTA 6 like the footage of the demo got leaked. No, you can play the Wolverine demo. It A build of it is just available for anyone to get.
And that in itself is insane because like what you said with the GTA 6 stuff, like that was like raw footage, but the fact you can actually play this demo, that's a whole nother thing right there. And I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Ugh.
We got, there's information about actors in the game, tons of character like bios and renders got leaked. Like we have a pretty good idea of like most of the stuff that they would have revealed about it in a proper reveal. Like I feel like we have more info on this game than we did for Spider-Man 2 before this year. Or like, cuz like Spider-Man 2 they waited to do their big blowout on for a while. So now Wolverine, which is like coming what they said like 2025, 2026
I think
maybe.
2025 is probably when they're gonna. This year's gonna be an
Yeah,
off year for them, and I think the next 2 or 3 years
yeah.
after that will be project after project.
Yeah, I feel bad though, man. It's it just sucks for them. I can't think of any other ways to say it besides, the Wolverine thing especially, all of that hard work just being shown off in like a unfinished way where I already see people complaining about it.
Yeah, and I was like, it's too early to do that because obviously, Insomniac, and they're literally like one of my two favorite gaming studios out there, though. So of course, I was soaking in all this information because there's a lot of cool information we would normally see the light of day of, especially with in terms of budgets. I'll get back to that here in a second, though. But there's a lot of stuff we would never see the light of day of from the business strategy and stuff. Um, had it not been for this leak, and obviously, it wasn't done like accidentally from the company itself. It was some information brokers who basically got up in there, took the stuff, tried to hold it from ransom, say, "Hey, give me this amount of money in Bitcoin, we'll call it a day, we won't release it." Obviously, Sony was gonna bite on that, and, they
Oh,
just flexed their muscle, said, "Go ahead and do it," and they just dropped it out there on the internet.
did you see how basically half of the budget was just the licensing costs for Spider-Man?
Yeah,
Because
and
remember,
ooh.
Sony, they have the movie rights, but they do not have the game rights. They had to pay a pretty penny for that.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing too. We got to see the budget prices for what was it, Spider or not the first
All of
Spider-Man, but I
them.
think Miles Morales, we saw that. We saw the Spider-Man 2 budget, the projected budget for Spider-Man 3. We saw Ratchet and Clank's budget as well as like Wolverine's projected one as well though. And if you look at all those budgets, each one of those Spider-Man games get higher and higher and higher. We're talking about I think Spider-Man 3's is like projected or yeah, I can't even talk. Projected to be like 300 and almost three I'll say an average, like 370-ish million dollars. That's freaking insane to have
Better
that
be
much
good.
budget behind the things. It's almost to the point I don't think, given the IP and given, the brand behind Spider-Man, those games aren't likely gonna like just flat out flop. But you can only imagine that these are the budgets, obviously, scale it down a little bit though. But if these are the budgets for some of the Insomniac's games, I can only imagine Gorillas, Blue Point, Naughty Dogs, and all the
Okay.
rest of those PlayStation studios out there. Their budgets on some of their studios and stuff. So I'm like, at some point, something's gonna give. I feel like one of these, and it
Well,
doesn't have to necessarily be Sony. It could be any studio out there, third party, first party, whatever though. But at some point, we're gonna get these games. Their budget's gonna get so big that at one point, even with the $70 price tag, that might be a deterrent for some people, though.
well,
When they
Blue
drop that
Point,
game out and it doesn't sell good enough, it might close down and shut down some
yeah,
studios.
hi. Well, Blue Point is mostly doing like remakes and stuff. So I don't think that that is gonna be that high.
No, not
And
for them. I was
also,
just shooting out
and also,
names. Yeah,
yeah, Demon Souls remake was really good. Like it was, they do a good job. I think specifically, what was the other one you mentioned? Sorry.
I said Naughty Dog,
Naughty
Gorilla.
Dog has super high budgets. Like, come on,
Hmm.
they literally just canceled that Last of Us Online thing because like they couldn't focus on that and work on the new one they're doing at once.
Yeah,
Because let's be honest, they're making Last of Us 3 right now. Of course they are.
well, word on the
Of
street is they're
course they
doing
are.
that and a new IP basically, but I'm just curious to see that because I'm like that might be another. Kind of alluded to that in the past. I think I made a video on it on my channel at some point. I might have to revisit that topic now that we have these actual confirmed figure numbers for projected and stuff that already had happened. I might need to revisit this topic though. But nonetheless, though, that's just insane. Like where we're at right now. It kind of makes you think when you look back and you take a step back and you look at PlayStation and we'll just say Nintendo. Nintendo might be, being playing the long game because at least with their projects, they're doing a somewhat limited budget, but making hand over fist in terms of their profits. So they never run into that issue because their hardware is not super over the top. Yes, it could always be better
Their
though, but at the
games,
same point, the business strategy of it all, they're solid right now. They're solid in
th-
comparison to PlayStation where it could get a little bit rocky.
their games also never go on sale,
That too.
and
They like to value their
they're
IPs a little more.
they're
Yeah.
also appealing a lot more to kids than this Sony. Like, think about how many people fucking bought Pokemons or, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are unfinished in every sense. Okay, like their quality control is not good. The performance of that game is unexcusable. But guess what? It sold like crazy. It doesn't matter what happened. It was inevitable that those games would sell like crazy, Zard.
Yeah. I mean,
Like
given
Nintendo can
Pokemon's
just do it.
brand, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Nintendo, as long as they're not stupid and they put things out at the right time and they actually make sure to give more stuff throughout the entire year, then yeah. Like this year, we got like how many? 2023 was a very good year for Switch. You had a game that I cared about like at least every 2 months, and then you ended it with a 2D Mario game. That's a big family release right there.
Yeah, so at least Nintendo has it worked down though. But I'm curious because even in what was it? Yeah, my prediction videos for what I think could possibly happen, for 2024. I just flat out said I just don't think Sony's going to drop a first party IP. Given yes, they are going to drop Last of Us 2 remaster. Ixnay on that. Let's say just brand new, so a brand new experience you cannot play on the PS5 currently right now. I still think this is going to be an off year for Sony. And you know what? Insomniac has definitely been pulling a lot of the weight for that company, though. I'm just gonna keep it a buck 50, though. You might, credit, God of War Studios and Horizon Studio a little bit, but those were only like basically one game and one expansions per pop. And then everybody else is like, well, what the freak? I don't know what they're doing though, but
Well,
I don't.
I think
Mm,
2025 is going to be that big comeback year, especially for PlayStation. I think 2025 is going to have like your Wolverine, maybe your Venom. It's going to have you're probably going to get your Kingdom Hearts 4. Ooh.
yeah. So
Yeah.
third party wise is gonna be a really good year. There's a lot of
I
stuff that's
think
already coming out within like late this month, early this month, and that's just the early part of this year. Who knows what the second half of this year will
yeah.
look like though?
I think we're going to get our remakes time at the end of the year, I think we're going to get those remakes. Tons of them.
Yeah.
But
So
we'll
at
see though.
most I'll expect some remakes from PlayStation side first party, but I
Yeah.
wouldn't expect anything brand new.
Like for example, it would be really cool. Well, this wouldn't even be PlayStation, but I guess it's I associate it so much with PlayStation. People have been saying Spyro 4. Where's Spyro at? Or even just like Crash or something like those original like PlayStation kind of characters, Activision, whatever they are.
Steven, we're in a brand new year now. That's Xbox now. That ain't
Ah,
Sony. That's
you're
Xbox. And at some
damn it.
point, I feel
You're
like
right.
they Xbox will turn around and do it. And if it's actually good, then I'll have to buy those games on PC though. But
I
yeah,
did forget that Microsoft bought them. I kind of did forget that. We're getting to the point where it's so hard to, tell. Oh, is that Metal Gear Solid Delta coming out this year? Or did
actually,
they not
I
say?
heard an interesting little take on that one because there might be a good chance. I thought it was supposed to come out in 2025. There's a good chance it might come out this year along with Silent Hill 2. So I'm like, well,
Yeah.
what the heck?
That's
So
oh yeah,
I'm
Silent
saying that this
Hill is all
bolsters the
snap.
third party stuff. So I don't know. We're gonna be in for an
Yeah.
interesting year nonetheless, though.
It's
But
gonna be an interesting year, yeah.
whew, all righty. Well, I think that's about it in terms of the gaming news segment stuff. So quite a bit of stuff that happened over the break. A lot more than what I possibly would have thought would have happened, though. But this is good and nice to be able to catch up on all of it. Now, here we go. The year-end review for 2023, part one. We're gonna go through this whole list. Steven, me and Steven, we got this list kind of curated up on Discord for all of y'all to be able to kind of see and go through and look at though. But we're gonna be talking about most of these games that have came out within the first 6 months of this year, and then we'll turn back around in the next episode and talk about everything post July onward though. But in the month of January, we had some decent stuff, and we'll just take it one at a time on this one though. So kicking off, and obviously, before we get up into it, try to put as many things in here that either me or Steven would know of. Or we know that there's a good presence of it online where we can at least say a couple of things about it and then just move on. I couldn't include everything up on here, or we'd be here for like what 2 or 3 hours or something like that though. But this is most of the major heavy hitters though. So on January 13th, we had Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Picked this one up at launch, and I didn't get this until the tail end of the year. I think I picked up late November or early December though. But that was like the next generation one. And I managed to get it for like the PS5 one, and I picked it up for like $20 or so though. But that was pretty good right there. Really solid though, but ain't too much flashy stuff with it. Um what about this one, Steven? One Piece Odyssey that came out on January 13th.
So
I know Sonic you probably got it. I think you
so
did, but
think Sonic, you got Dan got it. Dan talked about it a little bit. He kind of had divisive thoughts. He said it's like really easy and like a little boring, but like it is One Piece. It portrays One Piece well.
okay,
It's
so
probably fine. It's probably a good game. It's probably not like horribly bad or anything.
okay, so a
I
pretty
wouldn't have.
solid, I guess, experience, I guess, in terms of the adaptation for it. I'm trying to remember who was the one
It's
that
an
actually made it.
RPG if you didn't.
I'm trying to think of
Uh,
who made it. It's not
is it?
Bandai, I don't think, on this one.
I kind of looked like Bandai, like just like the way that game looked like Bandai. But I'm gonna double check that. I'm gonna check One Piece Odyssey. Okay, it is Bandai. Or okay,
Okay.
Bandai
Oh,
published it. You want to know who made it?
yeah, who made it?
The people that made your least favorite Pokemon game.
Oh, you're talking about oh gosh, what's their name again?
What's your least favorite Pokemon
I
game? You
know
know it to be
it's like
true.
Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, but
Yeah, there you go, Ilka. They,
Ilka. No, yeah, that's what upsetted me because that's how you knew it was direction of the Pokemon company with those games
of
because they
course,
had a lot more skill and it's just what they basically told them what they were forced to do.
it's
So
art
that's what
style.
yeah, I know that's what upsetted me on that one. I was like, what the freak? And yeah, I don't know. Don't mess with my Gen 4s like that. And if there's a Gen 5 game that comes out this year, so help me.
Yeah,
Oh shoot.
the game looks nice. It's got outlines around every character to give it more of like the toony style. It looks nice. A Pokemon game that looks like this could have been great, but this was obviously what they had their focus on, I guess.
Yeah. So yeah, One Piece Odyssey, that was on the 13th. Persona 4 Golden as well as Persona 3 Portable released on January 19th. Gosh, that was like a whole year ago. My goodness though. The funny thing
Yeah,
with Persona 4 Golden is I think I technically bought the game twice already. I hadn't even started it yet. I bought it digitally Persona 4 Golden whenever it was either when it first released or a little bit after that, or give it a little bit of time, and I bought it digitally and then turn around and they said, "Hey, Limited Runs is doing a physical version of this game." And I was like, "Shoot!" You know how they do the extra stuff with the limited goodies and stuff like that. So I was like, "You know what? I had to go out and get the limited edition one. The high dollar one because I wanted something physical and a limited edition. Because I'm also planning on getting." Persona 3 Reload, and I getting the limited edition on that. So that way I have some kind of limited edition for everything from 3, 4, and 5. So I technically bought that game twice though, but I hadn't dabbled in one of these 2 games, but some point in the future I will. Um, has the Persona series caught your interest, Steven?
it's one of those series that I've purposely tried to stay away from so I can enjoy it and forget everything about one day.
I also visit it whenever the hype kinda dies down, even though I
Yeah,
don't really think it
kind of.
ever will be,
Like,
but for Persona 5 in particular, yeah, there will be a moment.
here's the thing, I'm just like that with RPGs. I will never get to an RPG when it comes out, except
Really?
for one.
Hmm, okay.
I don't know. Like I have a hard time sticking with RPGs, but I like a lot of them. I like a lot of RPGs that I don't finish, but I just gotta finish more of them. And I know for a fact those Persona games, you can't just stop midway.
Oh, no, you definitely can't. Yeah.
You need to be in. You need to be in for the ride. But they look cool, obviously. Like it's a very stylish. Very interesting. Those games are about the characters and about the story. Like they look like they'd be fun once I feel like playing them. But I'm glad that more people can play them overall.
Yeah, so honestly, some really good stuff right there, at least for that though. And I'll definitely say that that was pretty good right there, really good. Let's see here. What else do we have up on the list? I think the next one we have is do 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 do. Oh shoot, here.
Yeah.
uh, Oh my gosh, here we go,
How
Steven. Here
about
we
we
go.
just skip this one? How
I
about
can't
that's a good
skip it,
idea.
Steven. I can't. I made a review over this gosh dang game, and
I
I'm
have
gonna,
nothing
gosh,
to
by
say.
golly, no, I got some stuff to say about this game.
Okay.
This is the one last time before I could just bury this thing in the snow, in the dirt, and then hopefully get something new this year, though. But yes, Fire Emblem Engage dropped on January 20th. Gosh, my golly, I am so mixed on this game. I never thought I would be mixed on a Fire Emblem game ever because went through and played almost every game out there that's been localized from like game 7 that was Fire Emblem on the GBA starring Lyn and stuff. That was Blazing Blade for the actual name of it if you were comparing it to the Japanese stuff. I played almost every game from that all the way up until now, either little bits of it or the whole entire game. And never have I been like, "That's just a bad Fire Emblem game." Never. Never have I ever. And we got all the way up to Engage, which is technically the 14th entry if you don't include remakes. And gosh by golly, I love the way how the game looked, or should I say ran, like graphically speaking. Like it's the most fluid. It's even more fluid than Three Houses by like a long shot. And I love the way how the combat was handled. That was really nice. It kind of went back to our original roots on that one like that. So I really did like and enjoy that quite a bit though. However, the one thing I did not like, the art style and the story. Those two things were such a big deterrence to me where I just could not thoroughly enjoy this experience. I bought the DLC for this game and did not manage to actually go through and fully beat it. While the DLC is technically more challenging, if you're just talking about from a gameplay perspective, it's really good. Don't get me wrong on that though. But the story, even for that, it wasn't kicking or doing any favors for me though. So I was like, well, what the actual heck though? So I'm like, oh, I don't know. Overall, if you want to hear my full thoughts on it, I did make a review on that. If you want to hear my full thoughts on Fire Emblem Engage though, but for me, that was definitely a miss. Probably more so because it was catering on the side of pandering to it being basically an anniversary game, and I knew right then and
Yeah,
there that was going to be a hindrance because I like it
right.
when things do their own unique stories. All right, there we go. I tossed the last little bit of dirt up on this thing. The next time I have to bring this
All right.
thing up is probably when
Here,
the next Fire Emblem game pops up.
here's what I'll say about this game. I've heard people liked the gameplay, and it's probably one of those games that people will look back on a couple years down the line more fondly as an anniversary thing. I think the issue is that Heroes already exists, so people have plenty of fan service already. It's not like Fire Emblem fans were in need of recognition of the older games and fan service. I think people wanted a remake of like one of the older ones more than this.
Yeah, we're
But
gonna
yeah,
get that remake of Genealogy of a Holy War. I feel like that's the next one coming up.
I think that main character I
Sigurd,
think looks. Oh no, the main no main
or are you talking about
character of
Alear?
Engage
Oh, Alear,
looks a
yeah.
little. I think they look a little bit better than most people give them credit for. I think it's memorable even if it's goofy. But I think all of the side characters in that game look forgettable and cookie cutter generic as all hell.
Oh, heck no,
I
Steven.
I
Heck
remember
no.
I
Heck no.
remember what.
No, no, no. Brodia designs are the ones where if they did the art style in that style, I would have been perfectly fine with that. Those are characters such as Lapis, my main woman Yanaka. Like that's the highlight of the game right there. If it weren't for her, oh shoot, I don't know what I would have done up in that game though. And then obviously you have that one cool dude. I'm forgetting the dude's name though, but he's like the dude with like the black and red. He's like one of the primary lords of that land. His design is really cool. Like he's probably one of the best design male characters up in that game though. So I loved all the Brodia design ones. If they made the whole game center around those styles of art style, I would have no issue art style wise with this game. It would have been my perfect Fire Emblem game. Just fix up that story though. But there's some
Basically
good
all of
characters up in here, but some of them, like what I'm saying with you, some of them are kind of a little weird.
most of these characters have the exact same face model. Like I just think it's like most like I know it's gonna sound stupid. I think it's just the most generic anime style you could have possibly chose. Like Three Houses, a lot of the characters still look distinct, and Three Houses is by far like one of my only frames of reference. But like most of the characters were distinct. They used nice colors to make them stand out at least, and like different like eye shapes or face shapes or different hairstyles. I could not even care even a tiny bit about the characters in Engage. I tried. I like watched videos about it and I couldn't remember a single one.
I don't blame you on it because the story just ain't that good though.
Well, yeah,
It's
that
just
too.
like you personally like the characters after you saw their what was it, their conversation and bonds with other people. That's the only other way how you're gonna relate with those characters. Which some of them did have good supports, like you know I saw some really nice ones and stuff, or some that kind of got you to laugh and stuff. I feel like some of the past supports in the other games were better, but it wasn't bad in this one. If you just looked at that, it's just the overarching stories is something I just couldn't really get behind on it though. But the real test will be when they make that genealogy of a Holy War remake. That will put them, you know, on a strict guideline in terms of like what they are supposed to be able to do because obviously you're remaking a previously established game. So it's going to bring it more back to its roots. So it should be more traditionally medieval, not all of these super vibrant colors and stuff like this, though, that kind of made it look like it was more of a fantasy series than just like a straight up medieval one. But yeah, nonetheless, pause you. I'm about to talk down on engaged. I'm about
Let's
to
talk
talk
about a
that.
good game.
All right, so let's move on. So after that one, High Five Rush came out on January the 25th. Now I
Yes,
know you played this. I played it a little bit when I had Game Pass. I didn't get super deep up in it though, but I did do enough to just kind of get a feel of the game though. But I know you have a better feel of it than me.
I love it.
All right, you heard
It
it here,
is
folks.
it is one of my favorite action games. Even if the music is not as like the game's about music, but it's more about like the vibe of the music rather than like actually having this amazing like breathtaking soundtrack. Like the audio design in the game is incredible. Everything is to the beat. Everything flows together. The characters are all fun and the art style is beautiful and the voice acting is really good. Uh I love it. And not even to mention that the action gameplay is great and it's very focused on like quick reaction time and parrying is a main mechanic. It's it feels like a game that could have came out in the PS2 era, Zard. It feels like how one of those late PS2 action games could have felt. It just was ripped straight from that era and given a new coat of paint.
I would say the one thing I really liked about this game was the fact that it was like, what was it, a shadow drop when Xbox did that presentation early in the year, last year
Yeah,
in January,
like
and
people
it's so
people say
colorful.
that
It's different from that.
Xbox. Sorry.
Oh, oh yeah, and it just felt different of a game comparison to kind of the traditional Xbox games we normally get from their first parties before they did all these acquisitions and stuff, though.
Yeah, people say that Xbox has no exclusives. No, they just don't make a big deal about them. Like Hi-Fi Rush was like amazing, and that was the first month of 2023. Like them shadow dropping this game, really like okay. I'd say if this was a full priced game, it would have been a horrible idea. But this game is regularly $30 or maybe 20 when it goes on sale. It is fantastic for that price. You get tons of content too. There's like there's tons of achievements, challenge modes they added, costumes. Like you can go back and play this game again one day and still love it, I feel. This is like probably like top 5 games of this year. So that's why I'm talking about it a lot.
Yeah, and it managed to pick up some rewards at the Game Awards as well, though. So it
It
did get the
just
recognition.
won it won best audio design and that's it, but it was nominated for like other stuff.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about this one is I've been hearing some rumors kick up as well, though. But we might not be seeing the end of this game. Shoot, or you know, this game might pull like an Ori and might drop on the Switch this year. I'm just
I
saying. I'm
don't
just
think I
saying.
don't I, I don't think it's coming to Switch. I'm sorry.
I
I
don't
think
know.
this
I don't know.
I think
We'll
I don't think they're
revisit this.
capable unless Xbox themselves like makes a big deal about it and it's like one of those dream ports like Ori where they get it running perfectly. I don't see it. Like it's
I
not
mean,
like Hi-Fi.
it wouldn't be that difficult of one to
I
do,
would
given the
yeah,
art
I would
style
just
and stuff.
I'm just worried about like the fucking frame rate or like the store how big it would be or there's gonna be some caveat. Like multi-platform games on Switch never look good, Zard, nowadays. Like Sonic Superstars is a cartoony, not even that good looking game on PC, but they still messed it up. Like I think companies, unless they put in the work, just can't do it.
Well, this is Xbox, and they're one of the
Well,
first party people, though, and they always manage to put
yeah.
out their Minecraft games out on the Switch. So I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Mine, Minecraft on Switch ain't necessarily a good that game is laggy as hell on Switch nowadays. But yeah,
Is it
I
now?
get what you're. I'd say the new Bedrock version is, but that's just because Bedrock sucks. The
Oh,
original Switch version was pretty good. But yeah, besides my grievances with multiplayer games on Switch, I'd love to see Hi-Fi Rush come to any new platform.
okay, okay. All right. Well, I think that's pretty much it in terms of all the January games we wanted to go over. So let's go ahead and look over February stuff. So, starting things off, pretty solid, I would say. Metroid Prime Remaster came out on February the 8th, and
Literally one of the best games this year, and it didn't even have to try.
that was an interesting name too. That was a shadow drop, and they went out and dropped physical copies at a later date though. But it was a shadow drop on that day because that was the same day as the direct. So I was like, well, what the heck?
Didn't they get them in stores only 2 weeks after, or something like that?
It was it was either 2 weeks with that or Pikmin. It was one of those two. But
No, Pikmin was a while. Pikmin was like September,
no, no,
while
no.
the
You're right. You're right. So
games came out in like June.
no, yeah, Metro Prime. I think it was later that month. It was later in
Yeah,
February. So a couple weeks or a little more than a couple. But yeah.
my God, though, Metroid Prime Remastered is one. It's one. Zard. It's literally one of those dream games. You know, when people set their expectations way too high for how this game will look in this year. It literally is Metroid Prime Remastered. They gave everything. They didn't skip a single beat. They kept in all the glitches they liked, everyone liked. You know, like the gameplay is literally exactly the same. And it was perfect. They didn't need to change anything. People
And
wanted like maybe like more quality of life, like with like it was something. It was like the ending of the game when you got to go back and collect stuff. People like kind of didn't like as much, but it's hardly an issue personally. And then besides that, they added dual stick controls, which is awesome, and they kept to the motion.
yeah, I like the different modes that they put up in there. Like you said, dual sticks, that was new. You could play it the classic way, like if you were playing it on the actual GameCube.
GameCube, yeah.
You can also play it as like the Wii style, like with two Joy-Cons and use one to control Samus's arm, use the other one to kind of move around and stuff. So there's a lot of different ways how you can play it in the style that
There's
kind of suited you
also
the best.
there's also hybrid where you hold a
Oh,
button
and
to start
gyro
motion
too.
aiming. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
like
that
you can
one's good
motion
too.
aim on command, which is a lot better than in Metroid. I loved Metroid Prime when I played it on the Wii, but my God, sometimes I didn't want to have to hold my Wiimote up to the screen.
Yeah, but
This is
overall,
the
this
definitive way to play this game.
yeah, it is. Because overall, I would say that, just the graphics and stuff, that just goes to show a testament of the art style for this game. Because even when I was playing the game and I was looking and moving Samus's arm cannon around, you can see the rain droplets hit Samus's arm cannon and roll down her suit. Something that you can't see on the original version, which I have the original GameCube version as well. It's in my GameCube collection. And that's not that level of detail obviously wasn't even on that even in the first iteration of this game though. But nonetheless, if we can get a good Metroid Prime game like here, it only makes you think what could Metroid Prime 4 look like? Or in the meantime, in the lead up to what could be a Metroid Prime 4, if Nintendo happens to go down this route, if they do decide to remaster Metroid Prime 2 and 3, how good those games could potentially look. Who knows?
Yeah, but it's beautiful, man. It's so good. Them making this is genuinely a miracle.
Yeah, so really good game nonetheless, Nintendo. So that was a really
When
nice surprise.
when this game came over, it cemented in my mind that we were never gonna be getting GameCube Nintendo Switch Online. They were gonna be remastering these GameCube games. Cause look, it shows they released this game for what was it? Was it 40?
Yeah, $40, I think. Yeah.
And guess what? It is worth every single goddamn penny. This is like a not even that long of a game. You could replay this too. You could replay it, and it's like 5 6 hours, just like any other Metroid game.
Yeah. All right.
I,
So
I'm sorry. There's two games back to back that I loved. Sorry.
all right, and then let's see here. Next on, we'll probably want to picking the pace with some of these upcoming ones though. But the one I got to talk about a little bit is on February 10th we had Hogwarts Legacy that came out, This right here is definitely one of those highlight games of the year. I didn't know exactly where I will rank them at, but I'll have a future video where I might be talking about some of my best experiences for 2023 though. But this is definitely up there for me because I never thought that there would be a pretty good movie book adaptation into games. We've seen some decent ones from time to time, but they're kind of few and far between though. But Hogwarts Legacy, like, oh shoot. I'm definitely marking this studio down to see exactly what they're gonna work on next because it's a straight like, you watching a movie and seeing that directly translated into a really solid game. Like everything from I knew my knowledge of from the books and the movies was portrayed up in here, everything from the detail from, Hogwarts castle itself and the stuff surrounding it, the different potions you can do. Obviously they had some, some tie-ins with like fantastic beasts, like you can do some raisins of some beasts and stuff on the side though, but there was a lot of cool stuff up in here, and the story they told was also really interesting as well. This was the probably the game that took me by surprise this year because I had my eye on it. I didn't know how good it was going to be. I just didn't think it was going to be that good. Flying around on your broom and stuff, go on and on about this game though, but I think this is definitely one of those games that I'll say is underrated, but then again, it's the Harry Potter franchise, so a lot of people
No,
actually
it
went out and
ain't.
bought it. I think I want to say I can't remember the exact sales on this, but I want to say between the PS5 and Series system, and then when they dropped it on PS4, Xbox One, and then when they dropped it on Switch, I want to say they probably sold over like 30 million copies of this game though. But nonetheless, though,
Okay,
it's a really good game.
30 million's a high mark. I think it's sold more around 10 million.
I need to go back and I need to go back and look it up. I remember hearing something stupidly high like that. I don't know.
I
Warner
don't know.
Brothers kind of weird with their kind of stuff though, but I don't know.
Well, I feel like Harry Potter fans were just like, okay, you know what? I'll buy it. I have no content coming up. They enjoy.
I mean, shoot, that game right there was better than all those Fantastic Beasts movies. I'm just keeping a buck 50 right there though. So
I heard
if you
those
really,
sucked.
yeah, the first one was okay, and the rest of them after that, I did not like all of them, especially the most recent one. That was really bad. I didn't like that one at all.
The second one I heard was really, really stupid.
Yeah.
Whatever it was. No, but yeah, the game looked it looked fine. It looked I'll be honest, I'm not a Harry Potter fan, but like I'm glad that people that cared about Harry Potter liked it and there was a big stink about this game from a bunch of different people and they're
Caught
just
some of
never
that I
gonna
caught some of that hate on my live stream too when I did it on that main channel. I was like, "Who the heck are these people over here?"
I don't know,
Oh
hating
gosh, dog,
if
I
I
hated
buy
that
I g-
mess.
like listen, if I've already taken the time to like make the decision and buy the game, then like I don't want to hear that bullshit. I bought a product. Let me make my own opinion on it. I think people yelling, "Oh, you shouldn't buy this. You shouldn't buy this" in your ear. No, that's wrong. Let people make their own choices.
Yeah.
But yeah, either way, I'm not interested in any way. I was never gonna buy it, so I hardly cared.
But yeah, that was a good at least PS5 game for me to kind of start off the year before I went into like a pretty good gap afterward though. Let's see here. Next on the list, February 16th, we had Theater Rhythm Final Bar Run. That's a game where I'm kind of interested in it. I never picked it up. Maybe that'll be one I come back and get later on. It came out on Switch and PS4 though. But if you really like, music, theater, rhythm games in general though, this will definitely speak out to you, especially if you like things that are like Final Fantasy. It's not just Final Fantasy. You had things that was like also with Kingdom Heart music stuff. Like The World Ends with You, Neo The World Ends with You and stuff. Even like the Mana series, like a lot of different Square Enix property music was up in this one game though. Obviously, like I know Sonic, our good buddy, was he has the game. He went through and played a lot of this stuff though. I know the DLC is kind of expensive. Like there's a lot of music packs and stuff up
With
in it.
Theaterism,
Yeah.
yeah, I know it had songs from like Chrono Trigger and like Final Fantasy VII. I'm pretty sure like the Smash remixes were in this game
I think
of the
I heard
Final
Sonic
Fantasy
say
VII
that. Something
songs.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, something weird. It was cool though. It was like a lot of cool stuff. Like Kingdom Heart. I think the Kingdom Hearts One Winged Angels might have been in there. Who knows
Mm.
though? All
Yeah.
I know is that like it looked cool and Final Fantasy has amazing music. So it was probably a good game, let's be honest.
Yeah, if I were to go out and pick a rhythm game, I probably would pick that one up because
If you're
who
looking for
knows? I
raw
don't think
content.
Yeah, I don't think Rhythm Heaven is gonna come out with a new one anytime soon. Let's keep it on buck
But
50
my
though.
but my God, that would be an amazing surprise.
Alrighty. And then on February 21st, we had Like a Dragon Ishin came out over here. Basically almost on every platform and stuff. For me personally, I'm still waiting for obviously we have another Like a Dragon one with Infinite Wealth coming out later this month though. So I think was Ishin I know I need hacks or something here over here
It
though.
was a spin-off.
Yeah, because one of those games was a spin-off that's kind of like a bridge between the two different games or something like that. I can't remember which one it was. It might
Looking it
be
up.
Ishin. I feel like it was Ishin, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, so it was on the PS3 and PS4 apparently, I
Hmm.
think.
Oh, was that the okay? So maybe this one was more like the remake one. Okay,
Yeah, it was either I think it was a remake.
okay,
It was a remake. It was a
okay,
remake.
remake. No, so I'm thinking of a different title. I'm thinking a different
And it
title
got a
altogether.
world
Okay.
this game got a worldwide release unlike the original, which was apparently only Japan?
I think so. Yes, because those older
Huh.
ones, some of them missed actually coming over here to the West. So yeah, for some people, this might have been their first experience with it, unless they
It's
imported it back in the
interesting.
day.
It takes place in the 1850s. I think that's a cool concept.
But yeah, so we had that one that came out on the 21st. Then the day after on the 22nd, Horizon Call of the Mountain for the PSVR2 dropped. And while I don't have a PSVR2, I know Steven, you don't have a PSVR2, though you have a Meta Quest 3 right now, or is it Meta Quest
So I
2?
have a MetaQuest 2.
2, okay, 2. None of us have managed to play that because we ain't gonna pay the hand over fist. What is it, $550 to get that system?
Something like close to 600 for the bundle with Horizon especially.
Yeah. But
No, that's I could not.
think that's the only notable thing that came out on PSVR 2, first party wise, because I think it was the only thing. The only other notable things was like the Resident Evil 4 and Village stuff.
You know what else came out on it, but I don't have to say it. We'll talk about it in part 2 because it came out in December.
Yeah. So I mean, that was like probably one of the bigger hits for VR2. Actually, didn't the PlayStation VR2 drop this year? I mean, this year, 2023? Or was that
I
2022?
guess. I don't know. I think did it not drop with Call of the Mountain? I don't know, man. Who cares is the better thing. It's it hardly matters when like what games does it have?
I mean, it barely has anything, to be honest, unless it count like a whole bunch of stuff. No, it
It's
did. It did come out on that day. So February 22nd was also the day that the PSVR 2 also managed to drop as well. I didn't have that on my list though, but I was like, I should have, but like, oh shoot. Yeah, so
like obviously
golly.
it's probably a good VR headset, but my God, man, it's too much money.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I think since then, Sony has came out in some state of plays and kind of gave some updates for some games coming out, but there's nothing out there that's been like extremely good outside of maybe that experience with Call of the Mountain, some third party stuff with Resident Evil, and
Okay.
then maybe Gran Turismo. Probably like some of the highlights I heard from most people that own the system. Probably say that those are some of the best things that are on the thing, and that's
All right,
about
so
it.
I looked this up. Okay, so the PSVR 2 has a 4K 120 FPS screen. That explains it. Yeah, that's why it's $600 basically.
Yeah, I mean it's yeah, it's jumping through some
And
leaps and bounds compared to the
I
first iteration.
technically maybe should have gotten it because my brother has Gran Turismo 7 and I guess
Oh.
that maybe that game would have worked with it. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, so it would have I think that would have been
I think
maybe
it would.
kind
I
of cool.
feel like that was a free thing if you had the game already, something like that. But yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. It's not something I'm gonna buy though. It's way too much fucking money.
yeah. So it's interesting. So we had that system as well as that game dropping out on the 22nd, though. And then
VR.
my
Yeah.
what were you about to say?
I was just gonna say VR is cool, but like MetaQuest is so much more affordable for something you're not gonna use much.
Yeah. And then I think my personal highlight for February on the 24th was Octopath Traveler 2. I say a highlight, but let me get to it though. Octopath Traveler 2. Now, this game right here, I was looking forward to it. Maybe not nearly as much as like the first Octopath Traveler, but I like the stuff that happened within the first one though. Obviously, the story in this game is really good, just like the first one. The combat and stuff is very similar to the first one, though. It did make some tweaks and stuff and some modern enhancements that make things a little easier to do in the second game than versus the first game, though. But the one thing I ran into an issue with, and I don't know about a lot of y'all other people out there, I like RPGs. I like sitting down and going through my RPG goodness in terms of stories and stuff like that. All the stories was good. The problem I ran into was the fact that once you hit a certain threshold and you get around, oh, I can't remember where the levels were at. I want to say it was like maybe around 50-ish or so. But once you hit a certain level threshold, and I think you did like what, four or almost five chapters of a given character story, grinding your levels to get high enough to where you can challenge the next area for your set of team, whatever four people you happen to choose out of the eight. That's what was tying me up. And I felt like I was grinding for like 2 hours just to get somebody up to the spot where I needed them to be, and that's what caused me to kind of just stop cold turkey. Like I would say I probably got through 50% of the game. And that just caused me to stop cold turkey. I really love the game. I probably will sit down and probably watch the rest of the stories on YouTube or something like that though. But I don't know. I feel like there's gotta be a way to kind of do the grinding a little bit easier though. And I'm like, just don't understand it. Like, I get the random encounters, like, it wasn't too bad on that though, but that grinding, I just felt like it was just entirely too tiresome. I don't know. Good
Yeah,
game.
probably.
I just felt like it could have
Uh,
been executed a little bit better.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. Octopath 1 was cool. I liked Octopath 1. I own 2. Like, I'll get to it one day. It's in my backlog. But, like, yeah, I'm glad that this one came out on, like, everything at once, I think.
Yeah.
And I hope it did well, but I hardly heard anyone talk about it, so probably not.
I feel
Um,
like if at best, we'll be lucky if it did a million.
I hope so.
Yeah. But
Because,
luckily
like,
with this one,
the
they
first
dropped it out
one
on
was,
all consoles because the first one I think was only just on Switch at first, and later it came
yeah.
to PC.
Well, it was boosted because of the Switch presentation. It had a very big presence there.
Yeah. But
It
I
was a
think
like, it was nice. It was a nice tech demo.
mhm. But I think that's pretty much it in terms of the month of February. So we'll roll over here on March. I think we're rolling at a good pace. So on March the 17th, we had Bayonetta Origins, Cereza and the Lost Demon. Shoot, I forgot
Don't
that
care.
game came out.
Don't care.
I th-
Especially from what I heard about Bayonetta 3.
oh shoot, yeah. I don't know. I almost forgot about this game. I feel like a lot of people did, unless you were one of the people that managed to pick it up, though. But
Yeah.
I'm like,
Here's the thing. I
yeah,
heard it's a good game. I heard it's good and all, but I can't buy this game for $60.
I know some people are looking at that price tag and like, I'll probably pick it up if it was 40, which I think it did probably go on sale around Black Friday or so.
I think when it goes down to like 20 in about 2 years, I'll pick it up and be like, you know what, this was really good. But that's
Uh,
it.
yeah. All right, so we had that on the 17th. On the 24th, this is probably the major hitter for this month, Resident Evil 4 remake.
Yep, it's good. It's not as good as the original, but it is good.
From everything I've seen about it, it's pretty good. All right, here's my little confession time. So I managed to go through and play through a little bit of Resident Evil 2, and I could tell it's a really nice game. Me personally, I think it's something about managing the bullets and some of the other things, and it's like managing your ammo and doing the puzzles. I'm like, gosh dang it! I'm like,
It's hard.
if you would have got rid of the puzzles or gave me infinite ammo, I probably would click a little bit better with that game in general, though. But because of the combination of the two, I don't know. I just don't think it's my cup
Well,
of tea. You can't say I didn't
it,
try though, but
yeah, yeah.
uh,
There are games that are like supposed to like stress you or make you feel tension. So when you get past that hard section, you get like a bit of a break for a bit.
yeah.
For me though, Resident Evil 4 is like it was by far the easiest game to get into. It gives you time. You have a shop. You can buy stuff. You can buy ammo if you need it. You can like,
Oh,
you
okay,
know,
that helps. Okay.
you can yeah, you can well, it's also like one of the longest ones. It's more of what you'd expect from like a traditional adventure type of game. Resident Evil 4 is great, and the remake is just as good, I'd say, with a couple things that I prefer from the original. And that's the only reason why I say the original is better, because remake looks amazing and doesn't really botch up that much.
Now, I guess the one thing I appreciate with Resident Evil 4 is it got that roundhouse kick. Like you can just pull that out on anybody and just kind of keep on going though.
Yeah,
But I hated it with 2 because I guess you can stab an enemy in 2, but the knife
you
gets
need to
stuck
have a
up
knife.
in them, so you need to shoot them and get your knife back. But I think if you do that too many times, your knife could get stuck up in them, or imagine if you run out of ammo, so you gotta run away, get more ammo, come back and find that same exact monster that had that knife impaled in its heart, and then, kill it and take it back. That's the thing I didn't
Yeah,
like
those.
that much, but I think
Well,
the
yeah,
way how the
those
knife is handled in
games.
RE4 is probably better.
Yeah, those games are built around how like scarce and limited everything is, and I personally really like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I
So I
could
don't know.
replay those games and get better and better. It's like, yeah, like it's Resident Evil 4 specifically, fantastic game. Resident Evil Village was heavily inspired by it, and that game's also great. I just think anytime Capcom does the Resident Evil 4 shtick, it's always a good time.
Yeah, so if I were to try to get into Resident Evil one more time, it would be with 4, but that would have been like the last straw for me though. That would have been the last one. Even though I technically own, what was it, the original one on Wii Virtual Console,
They're
on
not
Wii
that
U
hard
Virtual
to, yeah.
Console, which I
It's
mean,
not
yeah,
I was gonna say most of them are wildly different. Like I wouldn't say like call any of them the last straw. It's like, try it out, and if you don't like it, you don't like it. But I would say that literally any of those games could be the one that hooks you. You never know. Like
yeah.
for me at least, 7, which is the one that was originally VR called like Biohazard. That one was my favorite in the entire series, and I didn't expect that.
Okay, okay.
They just set up a great atmosphere. It really depends on how much you enjoy like the experience of a game.
All right. And then I think outside of that, then we turn over and oh shoot, what's the next one on this list? Oh yeah, so oh well, I'll just mention it. MLB The Show came out on March the 28th. Oh, this one was
Pass.
interesting because the fact that it dropped on Switch. I think that might have been the first time ever that has happened. I
And
just
that's
kind
the
of put that out.
only interesting thing.
So I did have to just kind of throw it out there because I know the mainstream probably bought that game up like usual. And then I don't know why I had this one on the list. Last of Us Part One for PC on March the 28th.
The
Hmm.
PC port was awful from what I heard.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't hot. I don't know why I had it on there to begin with though. You know I don't like Last of Us. I don't know. That's for y'all
It's a
out there.
major release. It's a major release, that's for sure. Doesn't
Yeah,
mean
yeah.
it's necessary. No one wanted this. No one, like, The Last of Us remastered is cool and all. Like, people were fine with that. I guess the only thing this did was bring the game to PC, and that's cool and all. I'm glad it's on PC, but my God, like, I heard it did not function well at all.
Yeah, it really honestly didn't, which was kind of upsetting, but I mean, I guess take what you will. That's just The Last of Us for y'all. All right, and then rolling over here to the month of April, we have none other than Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection. That came out on April the 14th. Did you manage to pick that one up, Steven?
No,
Okay.
I,
Well,
it's another RPG series. Whoop de doo.
I mean, I feel like because at this point, I feel like most of the Mega Man games, I feel like almost everything is up on this. It's like some very obscure things I think that is like left that's not in a collection
Like the Star
now.
Force. There's the Star Force games, and I think and also the Legends games.
Wait, the Legend we still don't have those?
No, those were
Hmm.
like PS1 and I think they were both I don't know. They were very old games, but people love them a lot.
Okay.
But yeah, most Mega Man games have Capcom does love re-releasing them, and by far, this is the collection that improved upon the originals the most because they added online and like other features and like cards that you could no longer get in game because there was like events you had to go to for some of them, and they added them all in.
That's good for those that happen to miss out on them. That's pretty nice.
Imagine if they did like Pokemon on Nintendo Switch Online with online trading. Wouldn't that be cool?
Oh, like classic one. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's basically how they did it. Except, yeah, it's like it's really cool for the fans of the game. Fans of this game probably liked these remasters a lot, and that's all that matters. Like, why make a remaster if the fan of the original games won't even like it? So yeah, good.
All right, so I think that was it for that one. Then on let's see here. Okay, yeah, and then on April 18th we had Minecraft Legends, which
Who fucking cares?
all right, moving on up. All right, so on April 19th, we had Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores. That was the only first party thing from Sony that we managed to get in the first 6 months until we came to the later 6 months, though.
Heard it
And
was
obviously,
fun.
that was just DLC stuff. Yeah, like what you said, I heard it's good. At some point, I will try out the Horizon series. I haven't yet. I had
I
the first
own
one for free because of, wait, what, during
Yeah.
that COVID year or something.
Yeah, I got that for free too. Played like an hour of it. It's interesting.
Hmm.
Um, I only thing I know about this DLC is that like the Hollywood sign was in the trailer because it was like the remains of Hollywood.
Oh, okay, I
It's
got you.
kind of funny, I guess. But yeah, it was cool. I don't think it was that big of a DLC probably because it came out very soon after the game, like a couple months after.
Wait, what are you talking
But
about?
yeah.
You talking about the DLC coming out a couple of months after the game?
Oh no, it came out like a year after.
No,
Never
no, it's
mind
a whole
because
year. That's why I was like I was confused.
yeah,
Like I was
yeah,
thinking
never
you were
mind, never
mixing
mind.
that up with the VR
No,
thing. Yeah.
I'm dumb. No, it was yeah, like it was a nice expansion for it. It probably oh, these games go on sale a lot, so I feel like in a couple years you'll find Forbidden West for like $20 with the DLC. That'd be a
Yeah,
good
because I
deal.
think they attached the two now. Like you can buy it physically, like complete or something like that.
I like when games do that. They always should do that.
Yeah. And then on that same day, on April 19th, that was kind of a busy month. Now looking back at this stuff, the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters also came out on April 19th. I got a little stories to say about this one though, because I managed to buy this game physically. Why the heck the Square Enix price that mess, even for just getting the physical cartridge of it in it of itself for $75 is
Money,
beyond me. 'Cause I guess the pricing with it, because this game technically already or games, should I say, already existed on Steam already, so you can get them on PC though, but this was the first time it came over to consoles, which everybody been begging and clamoring screenings to go ahead and do this though, and that was expensive, but the way how they handled this mess was weird because they had so many limited copies of this game, and I was like, "What the heck?" And you had to go to their store to get it, and I remember I was up long past midnight when this thing went for pre-orders. And I just happened to be up because I was watching anime. I like watching anime from like 12 and 2 in the morning. And then I just happened to see this go up. I was like, what the freak? I ordered that thing. And by the time I woke up in the morning by like 8 o'clock or something like that, they were all sold out. And I was like, what the heck? That in the limited edition. Oh shoot, the limited edition was like 300 something plus. But yeah, I was like, it was a little weird. I'm glad I had that physically because whole shoot, the resale on that, check eBay. It's kind of high out there. I'm
no.
just saying though. I'm just saying. But nonetheless, though, the games themselves are really solid. I went through and basically beat, I say basically, beaten the first game, and I started working a little bit on the second game, then I paused. It's like you don't want to play six RPGs like that back to back to back. You kind of have to pace yourself. So slowly but surely, I'll get through all of those though, because I know six is really good. Some people like six as their favorite though, but honestly, really solid. They made some fixes with the text and stuff, and I think that's all I got to say on that.
Heard they were cool.
Yeah, they were cool, and obviously, if you're interested in it now, you can buy it digitally. That's the way I recommend doing it. Don't try to pay hand over fist to get that stuff physically. Let's see here. 2 days after that, on April 21st, you had Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp. Oh shoot, was this game Steven delayed a year and a half? I
This
think.
game, this game was supposed to come out in presumably December of 2021. And
Yeah, a
then
year and a
it
half.
was
Oh,
yeah, it was about a year and a half because it was gonna release in 2022, but then a lot of stuff happened, and Nintendo was like, okay, let's push it and let's just keep pushing it. And people, I don't know if you remember, in February when that Nintendo Direct came out last year, people really apparently there was like rumors of like a game like getting a game like with physical copies being shipped out that no one knew about, and everyone thought Advance Wars was going to be shadow dropped on the day of the direct in
Oh,
stores.
yeah,
Remember when
no.
people thought that?
I remember that. Gosh.
Yeah, no, but it was probably them just getting ready for the release of remastered, like Metroid Prime remastered, which, they would still need to let stores know about that beforehand slightly.
Yeah.
Um, so that yeah, that was probably what that was. But no, this game finally got its release in April. There was that one person who got to play it a year early because it unlocked on their Switch. This
Oh,
game has
yeah,
been
I was
done
about to mention
for a
that, yeah.
while. This game has been done. It's literally was just them sitting on a fucking complete game.
Yeah, because of what was it, the real life events with the war where Russia and all of that
Yes.
stuff kinda going on
Yeah.
and stuff, which I understand them trying to respect that and trying to do good, though, but at some point, you gotta have to drop this
Well,
game
yeah.
that Way
It was.
Forward has
I
been
don't think
working
they
on real
wanted
hard.
to.
Yeah.
They didn't want to. It was literally just like them wanting to avoid even having to deal with controversy. Because yeah, there is a chance that they could have released it and been perfectly fine,
Probably
but who
could've. They
knows?
would've been fine because this is
Like
not
for
one of those games
example,
like a Mario or something
yeah,
based in Russia or something.
unrelated story, but right when everything was happening with Ukraine, Fortnite was actually doing a season all about a war.
Really?
So think about it like this, Zard. So Fortnite usually before their seasons start, they come out with like teasers. But since everything in Ukraine was happening, they just didn't do anything. They just shadow dropped the entire season, and then the save face, they said that like all item shop purchases were going to like support Ukraine.
Ugh, my goodness.
It was like it was people companies were scared when this was happening. Companies really did not want to like hurt their image when all of this was happening. So I
Yeah.
understand Nintendo not wanting to look bad by just delaying this game, but I really do feel bad that this had to be the game that suffered because I don't think this game sold well at all. And it sucks because I've played it and I did like it. It was good. I used a voucher on this game and I had a fun time and I got to beat it eventually.
Yeah. So
It's
I
more of a pick up and play than any other strategy I played, mostly because you don't have units that level up. It's like chess. You get your units and you strategize with them.
At some point, I need to get this game. I still haven't yet. At some point, I will. Maybe in the closing moments, like if this were the last year for the Switch, at some point, I got to pick it up. Especially if I
It's
notice it was like dirt cheap, and then I'm like, well, let me just get this thing physical because I don't know, because I guess advanced war games, they always have bad reps releasing at times of war. Because even the first one, I think, whenever they dropped
close
that
to
one
nine
out,
eleven.
yeah, and I think the one before, or it's Advanced Wars 1 and 2, and this is the remake of both those games. And I think even the first one before that, something happened with it too. I don't know. It's they just have weird release, unfortunate release schedules, I guess, is what you can say
I
though.
know I know Advance Wars existed before Advance Wars on the Game Boy Advance. There was like I forgot what it was called, but it was Famicom Wars.
Oh, yeah. That's what kinda yeah, there's a whole story between Famicom Wars,
Yes.
Advance Wars, and then what led to Fire Emblem, like,
They're
that's a
all part
whole
of the same
yeah,
series.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so okay, no, it was released on in the US on September 10th, but it was put on hold in Japan and Europe because of 9/11.
Oh, okay, okay.
So this exact same situation did happen.
Mm,
And you want to know what sucks? Japan didn't get either of them until 2004.
goodness. So that yeah, it's like one of the reverse stories where sometimes Japan will
Yes.
get stuff and we get it later. Sometimes you hear some weird stuff with Europe stuff too. Sometimes stuff like that happens over there as well.
Yeah. Advance Wars was much bigger in the West than any other of their franchises, which is why they brought over Fire Emblem.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's about it for our Advance War stuff. And then the last thing that will close out for the month of April would be none other than whew, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeemed. Before I even start
Yeah.
about say anything about this, I wanted to set a timer because I can't be here for another half hour, Steven. Though.
No, we had a whole didn't you have a whole discussion about this? We can just say
Now,
like
now, now
one
now
sentence about it
that's
each.
the funny thing, Steven. I never had my discussion on Xenoblade Chronicles 3, the Future Redeemed stuff in and of itself. I had a big fat discussion on Xenoblade 3, the base game. But I never sat down with Sonic Q and Mario to talk about the future redeem stuff and what that meant for the whole entire series. I never did
Well,
that, which is kind of weird
means a
because
lot.
I know
Yeah.
it means a lot though, but nonetheless, without going too much into heavy spoilers, though, it was just nice seeing Rex and Shulk and all of them show up
Yeah.
from like 1 and 2 and stuff. Obviously, looking aged and stuff. I don't know. It was something about looking back at that trailer, like whenever he's like, "I'll show you a thing or three." I was like, "What the
And
freak,
then
man?"
I didn't really understand most of it till after I beat it, but all of the Xenosaga references and fucking foreshadowing is crazy.
Yeah, I picked up on some of that stuff with that radio. I was like, "Wait a minute." I was like,
It's
"What the
not even
freak?"
subtle. They
It's not
literally
so.
credit like Bandai Namco multiple
Yeah, they
times for
even
the game.
zoom in on it as well, and I was like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah."
and like obviously it seems like there's like something, and they definitely are teasing whatever the next game is because there's something that came back to the planet after it came fused together.
And that's what everybody was kinda
And I do
speculating
like,
on what that could be, but
and
I
I
got some
really do
ideas.
like how it does confer. It really does make me happy that they fixed one of the least favorite things about Xenoblade 3 for me, which
Oh,
was
what
like
was that?
the ending being so vague.
Oh, with the
Like
way
I do
how
like
okay, I see what you're
I
talking
do, yeah, cuz spoilers obviously. I like how they do actually confirm in that ending scene that the worlds do merge correctly at the end.
mhm.
Like, after everything happens in Xenoblade 3 with Ionios, the worlds of Xenoblade 1 and 2 do successfully come together without, presumably without anything being destroyed. Because they said it was like either going to destroy both or like severely
Or
damage
wreck
both.
one and one kinda still kinda there. Something along the lines of that.
Yeah, it was gonna bring a lot of trouble. Like it was gonna be really bad. But it feels nice knowing that Xenoblade 3, all of the cycle of death and rebirth, it all did have a purpose and it did end positively. Like, breaking the cycle did lead to something good. Cause I don't know, the original game ended kind of vague, but like not in a way I liked.
Oh, you talking about the first Xenoblade Chronicles?
Yeah, and
Okay.
I like how this is a prequel, but it connects perfectly into Xenoblade 3 as a conclusion.
Yeah, it gave me a little bit more greater appreciation. Like I like 3's story, but I thought it wasn't as good as 1 and 2's. But then when you
Yes.
put this in context with it, it fills in
Yeah.
all those gaps that you were kind of were thinking like, wait, they didn't explain this and they didn't explain this. Especially oh gosh, what's that one Napon's name? Riku. I was like,
Yeah,
bro, I
Riku.
looked at Riku that whole time. I was like, something is off about this one freaking Napalm, man. This dude knows too much. And then when we
Well, isn't
finally saw in the DLC, I was like, it made 100% sense. I was
wait,
like, I was
what did
trying
they
to tell
say?
y'all
Like Melia was like his master.
something about that, and then obviously he was there with Rex and Shulk and stuff, the
He
founding founders that we found that
he's
when you hit that
also
one area with the
he's
statues
also
and stuff.
one of Ricky's children, I guess, right? I swear they
That
said
too,
that.
something like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that dude had too much
He's
history
important.
and too much information. Yeah.
And I like that. I like that they, like a Nopon character was given a major spotlight lore-wise. He basically sets the motions of the game, sets everything in motion by giving Noah Lucky 7.
Yeah. All right.
But
Well,
yeah, it's
we
good.
better stop
It's good.
there before.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's so good. It's also I haven't even talked about how gameplay wise it's amazing. I 100% of this. I don't do that a lot with Xenoblade
Oh,
games.
you did 100% this game,
Well,
or
basically,
you?
I beat every
Okay.
single super boss. The only thing I didn't do was like get some of the collectibles in some areas because you had to grind for that.
Mm.
But like all of the major content, I did do.
Okay. Okay. That was nice. Yeah, so that brought us to our conclusion that Xenoblade Chronicles 3, so or the Chronicles series, it'll probably be dubbed Xenoblade something else in the future though, but kind of leaves up in the air as like what could be potentially next for Monolith Soft and them over there though. But nonetheless, though, I'm really looking forward to whatever they're going to be cooking up next. They're one of my top two favorite studios, and they hadn't failed me yet though. But I think that about does it in terms of the month of April. There's a couple of things I wanted to point out in May. One is a major one, one's a minor one, though. But on May the 2nd, Redfall dropped on, all the Xbox platforms. And oh shoot, when that game came out at first, that was a hot mess.
This game single-handedly ruined most people's trust in Xbox giving good exclusives. People just were not happy with this game.
Yeah, and I
It
know because
looked
I
bad
think it.
from the start,
Yeah, and people were
honestly.
saying that either number one, it was unfinished. Two, they didn't manage to give it the 60 frames per second mode and all this stuff. I can go on and on and on, but like that was just a few things that people kind of brought out.
No one is playing this game. This game dropped off faster than any game I've ever seen.
It really did. I think I saw some of the
Zard,
completion stuff on it. And it was kind of low.
take a wild guess on how many people are playing the game right now.
Percentage wise or people?
This amount of people in
Amount
the
of people?
entire world on PC.
A couple. Oh, on PC, a couple hundred.
42.
Oh, okay, never mind. Oh,
And guess how it's gone as low as apparently 4, I
oh
think.
goodness. I feel like
This
even
is
with
a
games that are kind of niche, they can still can manage to hold like at least when you're dealing with a worldwide population, at least a couple hundred or a few hundred. But like, what the heck?
yeah,
I
no,
don't
there
know.
are some people that will commit themselves to bad games, but this game just people could not.
I don't know. Yeah. All right. Well, we won't linger on it too much though. But that was probably one of the hot misses I would say within the first 6 months out of all the games we talked
I'd
about
say
thus
it's the
far.
biggest miss of
Yeah.
2023. I would personally say that. You didn't even put Forspoken on here, thank you.
Oh shoot! Didn't that come out in January?
Yes, and we don't need to talk
Really?
about it. We just yeah.
I don't know what website I got this thing from though, but okay, whatever.
Yeah.
And then the major one, and this is the reason why not many games came out in the month of May that were notable, was of course The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Now that came out on May the 12th. That
Yeah,
game was
but
freaking
my
phenomenal, and it was contender. I could tell from the moment I was playing the game, it was going to be contender for my game of the year at that point. And it did live up to the hype and stuff. It was a long wait, Steven. Wasn't it like what
yeah.
we knew about this game for four
Yeah.
years or so?
Like yeah, I loved the game, but I don't think I could go back to it any again.
I will probably in the future. Like, imagine if like the Switch 2 were to come out and they made like an enhancement port or something like that, or it just naturally ran the game a little bit better, like sticking the PS4 disc into a PS5, something similar like that. If they
Yeah.
made it look cleaner, and I'm still looking for games to play on my shiny new Switch 2 or Super Switch, whatever you want to call it, I could go and visit Tears of the Kingdom because I know there's some other stuff I wanted to do up in that game. I just never got around to. Like, there's some enemies, like what was it, those three-headed dragons and stuff with the different elements.
Yeah.
I never beaten one of those. I never beaten like that block creature. I never took out the Yiga clan dude. I felt like I could have strengthened more of my weapons and stuff with the great fairy fountains. I didn't find all of those. I know I didn't explore all of the depths, like found like every little crystal thing. I know obviously I hadn't found every shrine as well. So, there's more things I can dabble around and do though, but
Yeah.
I was saving
It
that for
was
like
an
another day.
Yeah, it was a great game and it improved on a lot of the stuff from Breath of the Wild that I thought could have been better, but it still does have a lot of those original issues like, the world like I don't know. I love it a lot though. It has issues. It is not a perfect game like many people tout it as, but it certainly is great. I heard a lot less people talk about this one afterwards compared to Breath of the Wild though.
Oh yeah, it probably. I
I,
felt
I
like
don't
no, it was the talk
yeah.
of the town for like the whole month of May and a little bit into June, and then
And then it
after
was
that,
done.
it just kind of sizzled out though. But a lot of games, I feel like there might have been a couple games that were planning to come out in May, and when Nintendo announced its release date, they delayed it into June just to get out of the
Yeah,
way because they knew that
as
was going to
of
soak up everybody's time.
As of September, the game sold 19.5 million units.
Yeah, a little shy of 20 million,
Yeah.
you said.
Yeah, no, yeah, the game slowed down tremendously though. It sold 10 million in the first 3 days, Zard. And then yeah, it sold 10 million in the first 3 days and then it's only sold like a little bit less than 10 million after that, about 4 months later.
Yeah, in which we still will have to wait until what is it in the month of February when we get the holiday sales. So that would be everything from October, November, December to see what it got after the holiday push. Because I imagine that would spark up more interest in it once again. I imagine that might move like at least 3 million units right there though. But we'll have to wait and see though when those numbers come out though. But yeah, nonetheless, Tears of the Kingdom, really great game, and that was the highlight of May right there. All right, we finally made it to the month of June. So the very last month we're gonna cover at least in this one episode, and that'll probably be it for the show though. But on June the 2nd, we had Street Fighter 6. I had this
Hmm.
game, you had this game. Played it some. Honestly, I know I could play a lot more of it though. And I feel like you definitely probably put more time in it than me.
I like it a lot, and I'm not even big on fighting games. I just think it's extremely polished and like stylish in all the right ways. It's just I've never described the game as this. It's just a game with a lot of energy. It just has like a confident energy surrounding it, and I like it. I just the only thing I don't like about it is the stupid ass battle pass that exists solely just to make people like have FOMO.
And I will say this, what was it? Those I saw some skins and stuff they've been doing on the side. I don't know if you count them as like, oh, I guess they're technically categorized as DLC though. But like those Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle outfits, like to get all four of those, did it cost $60 to get all four of those outfits?
Yes,
What the heck? That's
that
$15 a
it
pop.
and they're only for your like customizable character. Oh yeah, that was another thing about Street Fighter 6. It had a really good single player.
Now the single player campaign is good. I need to put more time into that. I really did appreciate what that kind of brought to the table. And you use your avatar character. You basically can learn different styles, like from Chung Li or Ryu. You know, the list kind of goes on and on with the base roster
Yeah,
characters in the
it's
game,
cool.
though. But it kind of adds some unique flair. So that way, when take your character once you season them up quite well, move them over into, just regular online matches where you can kind of go against other people, either your friends or randos, other avatar characters, and go head to head. So you don't know exactly what their moveset might be. So kind of has a little fun, kind of classic mode up in there where it's like, just a little fun arcadish mode up in there. So it's really nice. And I think
Yeah, I
outside of
like it.
that, Street Fighter 6 is really solid. I just need to put a lot more time up in the game though. But nonetheless, really cool. We might get more updates on that game, DLC wise, or when they do those ultimate, whatever they want to call them, iterations on the Street Fighter game in subsequent years. But yeah, that's
Yeah,
gonna basically do it for that game. Rolling on over, we have on June the 6th, Diablo 4. I hadn't played it. I know you hadn't played it. I think there's somebody else that one of our friends
heard
might have played it, but
heard it was cool. Simple
yeah.
as that.
Heard it was cool,
Heard
simple
it
as
was
that.
fine. I heard
PC
it had
players, that's their
problems.
game.
Yeah, I heard it like yeah, I heard people had like a bit of drama with it, but like I heard gameplay wise it was what people expected.
Mm.
You know. Um Final Fantasy 16 though is a game that I feel really guilty about because
That came out on June the
started it.
22nd.
Yes, I started it and I gotta get back to it. I don't know why I keep doing it with these long games. I have to
You
get
need to
back to
freaking
that
do
game.
it, man. I'm telling you, man. Final Fantasy 16, dude. That's the one that caught me by surprise. I picked the game up in December. I almost did not play it in the month or not in the month, in the year of 2023. So it could have potentially missed my game of the year and all those kind of conversations, stuff like that, though. But that game was so good. And I hate how it had all that discourse and stuff surrounding about it, about like, some classical Final Fantasy people, I get it. You might like turn-based better though. But what they do with this
Who
action
cares?
combat on the scale of what they do with these icon fights, and then, and the way how they told Clive's story, yes, it would have been nice to see some other story element stuff with like other side characters like with Jill and stuff. But what they did within this game, story wise, as well as combat wise, and just the grand spectacle and the way how it looked and stuff, was just absolutely freaking phenomenal. The one hindrance I would say about this game was getting used to playing the game in performance mode, but it didn't feel like it consistently ran at 60 frames per second. I was like, that was the one hitch. It took a while to kind of get used to, but once you did, everything else was great about it though. That was like the one thing I did not like about the game. Everything else I loved.
Heard it was cool. Liked what I played, and I will play it again.
Yeah, because they also had that DLC coming out this year. Like they got one that's already out, and then the second part comes out in I think in the month of March, if I'm remembering that right. I'm just
Yeah.
waiting to play both parts of the DLC when both of them come out, and then I'm just gonna lump it all together because both parts put together is about 10 hours. And actually, to beat the game is about like a little more than 40-ish. So then slap the DLC on there, and now you're about up to 50. That's if you're not doing like a
Yeah.
crazy amount of side quests, but yeah. Alright, so that was my personal highlight from the month of June, even though I didn't play the game in the month of June. And then, we got a few more. These won't really take that long though, but, let's see, on June the 30th, Ghost Trick Phantom Detective came out.
Okay, I have a decent amount to say about this game actually, because
Alright, I'll let you go ahead
played
and
it.
take it.
I like this game a lot. I have to beat it, but I did start it recently. I will definitely get to this game faster than most other games. It has a very unique premise. It's like a puzzle story game. I actually think you'd quite like it, Zard. It's very simple gameplay wise. Like it's not hard at all. It's just more of a puzzle. Like you like Ace Attorney, right?
Yeah, I like Ace Attorney, and is this
Made
one made by
it is
Capcom?
created by it is created not only by Capcom but by the creator of Ace Attorney. It is majorly Ace Attorney. Like, you'll like it, is what I'm trying to say. So basically, you are dead, and you're trying to, like, solve the mystery behind your death. And you have to possess objects around you. And, like, you gotta, like, possess objects to make your way to certain locations where you could, like, find out about, find details about your death.
Okay.
And you could like you could like change people's fate, so you could use your ghostly powers to go back in time and stop someone from dying, whether to get information or to change fate and find. That's the only way I could describe it. It's like a detective type of game. I think you'd like it quite a bit. It's only $30.
Oh, okay, that's what I was about to ask was the price on it, so 30 bucks.
And
That's not too
I
bad.
I got it imported, and yeah, I have the physical copy. It's cool.
Oh,
I'm
'cause
glad I
is it
got it.
only digital for us over here?
Yes, at least
Okay.
only on I think on Switch. It might be physical for place. I don't know. I know it came out on other stuff. Might have came out physical on other consoles, but either way, I'm glad more people can play this because this was originally a DS game. If you didn't know.
Oh. For some reason,
Yeah.
I was thinking it was like a brand new game. Like, I remember
No, it
seeing it
ain't.
in the directs and stuff, but I just couldn't draw anything from it.
I would not sleep on this game.
Hmm. Okay.
Is all I will say. This is out of all of the games in this first year, like first like section of the year. This is one of those that I'll say you should definitely get to when you have a drought of games.
Okay. Whenever I get caught up on that backlog. Okay, so it's between
Yeah,
this and what could be Advance Wars. I think are like the
and
2
this
main
game,
draws I'm seeing.
and this game is like one of those games you could chill and just read and have like a couple hours of fun. It's not
Okay.
long.
Alright, not bad, not bad. Alright. Alright, so I think that's it for Ghost Trick. Alright, we got the other stain in the year in
We
the
got
first
fucking
half.
Pig,
We got everybody one two
Pig.
switch on June 30th. We're talking about the dude with the horseman thing. Like they put that dude on the center of the box on this one though. Oh
This
gosh.
is the certified game of all time, Zard, okay? I don't want to hear no slander, okay?
Wait,
This is
don't
the
you have this
game
game?
of all time. I have this game. Yes, I do. I
Why
love
haven't
this
we
game
played it yet? Because I need to
because
dabble and see what this game actually is.
it's fucking stupid is the main reason.
No,
But
we
let's
need to
just
do we need to play this game at some point. Like
maybe
what the
if
heck?
you yeah, maybe we could like do a stream of it. That'd be funny, I guess.
I gotta
It's
at least see what these
stupid.
people are talking about. Ugh.
It is really stupid, but I love it. And like I don't know, Nintendo really tried. Do you remember hearing like people when people play tested this, they did not like it.
Oh, no, that was we heard about this
This
game, I think in a
had
year in
terrible
advance
reception,
before it actually dropped, like,
and
we
they
heard
still did
rumblings
it.
about it, like, it was bad and stuff. They they didn't market this thing that well, like, they threw up 1 trailer on YouTube. I don't think they talked about it too much on Twitter. They changed their banner on Twitter for the everybody want to switch for, like, what felt like a couple of weeks, and then after that,
But
that
we
was
knew
it.
nothing about it before it came out. Yeah,
Yeah.
my favorite thing about this game, I think it's kind of funny. You could put any image you want as your profile picture. You could post a dick pic as your profile picture and
I
get a
heard
stream
about that
ban.
one too, and I was like, "Oh, no."
You know how
That
many people got banned because of this game? It was
I
fucking
know, 'cause
awesome.
I feel like 'cause streamers be like, "Oh, this should be the perfect thing. You can play with up to 100
It's a
people."
party game,
So it's like,
yeah.
yeah, that makes perfect sense, like Jackbox and all of that stuff. And then you get people that can do
100,
stuff like that with pictures, and you be like, "Oh, no."
yeah. 100 people just take dick pics and join the stream all at once.
Oh goodness. Or,
You
it doesn't
say
even stop right there. It could be anything. Like,
it
shoot.
takes one person, really. It really does just take one person.
I was about to say
No, but
something else,
it's
and I was like, I better not say that on the
yeah,
podcast. But yeah, the rest for sure though. You can only imagine how many dirty things someone could put up on that thing though. But
yeah.
oh
And
goodness.
they expected to have like multiple people in the same room play this. No, just go play Jackbox. It's more fun.
Oh goodness. But yeah, so
Yeah.
definitely better than Redfall though. I mean, we're talking bottom of the barrel right here though, but it still doesn't compare to Redfall right there. It's
This
still
game released and it works, but it's not really a game.
I know, yeah.
It relies. I don't think it has an offline or anything. It relies specifically on these servers
Yeah.
and like having a website. It's just weird that like a Nintendo game tried to one up Jackbox.
Yeah. All right, and I think that's it on Everybody One Two Switch. And then the very last game we have to talk about for this segment is Master Detective Archives Raincoat. This is one I wanted to honestly get my hands on and try. Too much stuff was coming out within June itself. Like I knew I wanted to get Final Fantasy 16, even though I didn't get it that month. I got Street Fighter 6 and stuff, and then I'm coming off of May where I was still trying to work on Tears of the Kingdom though. So a lot of stuff was kind of going down on this month, and I knew a few other games that were going to come out in July, which we'll talk about in the next episode though. But it's a game that's interesting, kind of has a detective art style or detective feeling behind it and stuff. I wish I could say more about this game because I can tell it's good. I just didn't
I
have the
haven't
time to get around to it.
never I have never heard of this game honestly.
Because I know it was in like the what was it? Whatever direct it was. I don't. Was it the February direct? Yeah, because I think we only or no. Well, it might have showed back up in the June direct. We actually did have a direct in June this year, unlike last year though. But it was a combination of one, if not both of those ones though. But it was a nice game. I just thought I would give it a little bit of a shout out right there though. But I think outside of that, that's about it in terms of our year in review for January through
Um,
June.
you did forget one from January.
Oh, what was it?
Pizza Tower came out early
I thought I had it
January.
on my what?
No, you didn't. No,
Oh shoot. Okay, well go ahead. You should have
Pizza
said
Tower
something
was
after I was done with January, man.
no, I realized like halfway through. We were
Gosh.
talking about like April, but yeah, no. Pizza Tower is a great game. Harkens back to the WarioWare games. It is the perfect like rendition of a classic game just brought to the modern day. It's one of those indie darlings that I'd say is great. It's a wacky game. It's stupid. It's completely engrossed in its theme. The humor is very random, but like it's amazing. I think the soundtrack is great. The gameplay. Well, I feel like the gameplay it takes time to like learn and get used to, but once you're in that mood, once you're in the groove, I think anyone can have a great time with this game.
Yeah.
Um, it's if you like pizza, play it. And I love pizza. I like it a lot.
You like
It's a
pizza a
good.
little too much.
Yeah, I like it a little too much, but yeah. Um, Good game either way. Definitely top 5 of the year. And my other picks for top 5 we'll talk about in part 2. So right now, like I already have a couple games this year. So top 5, we already got like Resident Evil 4 remake, Metroid Prime, Hi-Fi Rush, Pizza Tower. Oh, Metroid Prime isn't a new game, so I can't count that.
It
But
gets
yeah,
yeah, it gets tough when you start thinking about remakes or remasters
I
and
would
stuff. I feel like we
say,
need a category for that in the game of the years. I don't know why we don't have that yet.
yeah, I'd say that started off strong. There was at least one or two games every single month that I knew I was gonna get. Like, okay, yeah, I'm definitely buying that type of games.
Like I got Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, Persona 4 Golden, Fire Emblem Engaged, and I dabbled with High Five Rush in January. I had Metroid Prime Remaster, Hogwarts Legacy, and Octopath Traveler 2 in February. I skipped March. I didn't get anything in March. April, I got Final Fantasy Pixel Remasters and Xenoblade Chronicles
Xenoblade.
3 Future Redeemed. May, I had Tears of the Kingdom. In June, I had Street Fighter 6. Way later, I got Final Fantasy 16. And yeah, that was about it. So I was averaging at least two games a month.
And because it wasn't on the list, and because you already did include a DLC, I thought it was fair to mention that some Mario Kart tracks came out in the
Oh
first half
yeah,
of the
which
year.
I had that one fully. We'll go over all the details on that within the next episode. I was just gonna lump it all
Yeah.
together because otherwise, if we did it every single
Oh,
time, that was
okay.
gonna slow us
That's
down.
fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. But yeah, no, we'll talk about that then. Never mind.
Alrighty. But yeah, I think that's about it in terms of the year-end review. So overall, really good games that managed to come out within the first half of 2023. We'll talk about everything July to December within the next episode, though. But nonetheless, though, really solid first half year, though. Sometimes the first half years are, aren't as on fire in comparison to the second half because you're kind of leading up to the holidays, though. But they didn't fail to disappoint on this one, at least in 2023. So hopefully in 2024 we have a solid one, but it just doesn't go ape crazy because later this month for January and February, oh shoot, they're about to drop the bucket on us, and I ain't ready for it. I honestly ain't ready though. But that's gonna basically do it in terms of my ZardCast podcast episode 69. I thought I was gonna have a little time to talk about what we've been watching and all of this stuff though, but I'll say this real quick. Just give me 2 minutes though. I did manage to watch the Gran Turismo movie, literally yesterday, and that movie was so good. I actually went and bought it on DVD today because I actually started throwing some movies and stuff on sale because Best Buy is getting rid of all the physical media and stuff like about that, right, Steven?
Yeah, it's kind of stupid.
It kinda is, and I caught Wario64, he was tweeting how it was like, "Oh, the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse movie was getting knocked for 50% off," and I was like, "Oh." I
Wow.
was still meaning to get that 'cause I didn't get it yet, so I picked up that, and then I was like, "Wait, the Gran Turismo movie." I pre-ordered actually pre-ordered the Spider-Man and that, what was it on what's today? Sunday? Yeah, I actually pre-ordered that
Yeah.
on Saturday for pickup at my Best Buy, and I was gonna do that, and luckily I didn't pick it up yet because then today, then they marked them for half off, so I canceled reorder or told them the price match it, so I got I mean, save like almost up to $60 between the
Yeah.
two of them though, but not 60
While
30.
while sitting here, I just realized that we also had Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe, which was also amazing
Wait, what?
this
I
year.
didn't have that on my list?
No, it was February, I think. Either way,
Oh
I love it.
gosh. Dang,
It's good. It's everything I liked about the Wii game. That game is like one of my childhood darlings. Everything I loved about the Wii one was even better, and they even added stuff. So yeah,
okay. Alright.
maybe shouldn't have been 60, but it was great.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, nice little game right there. But that Gran Turismo movie, that was really solid. I thought that was a really good video game adaptation to movie, given the fact that it is dealing with racing and stuff. So you're not gonna have like a super unique story. But the fact that it was
Yeah,
based on a real true story, like they took actual racers from that played Gran Turismo, put them in a competition, and actually had them driving, on tracks and stuff. I think it happened in the year of 2011. The fact that
my
that's actually
dad
a true story, that's crazy.
my dad went to watch it actually. I found out. I
Yeah,
didn't
so
know
you
that.
can watch it right now on Netflix, but you gotta be in that one tier where it's like you're paying for no ads or that premium tier. It's like one the mid tier
Oh,
or the high tier. You gotta be in one of those two tiers to watch it on Netflix.
I got you.
But yeah, I just want to give a quick little shout out on that. I managed to buy that on Blu-ray and stuff. I don't know. At least the good video game adaptation movies like the Mario one, the couple of Sonic movies we got and stuff, and like Detective Pikachu. If I watch a good video game adaptation movie, kind of want to pick it up physically, especially now that they're kind of getting away from physical media. So I definitely want to pick all of that stuff up. Gosh dang it, y'all better release that Legend of Zelda movie physically on, Blu-ray and stuff, kind of like with the Mario movie stuff, because I want to own that mess. I don't want to own it just only digital. Don't do that to me, y'all. Don't do that to me. Okay, all right. That's my last little bit of a tangent though. But that's gonna basically do it for real though. For my Zarcast episode 69 though. So Steven, let the fine people know where they can find you at.
You can find me on Twitter at Steven Jr. 1231. Um, once in a while, posting stupid memes. Not that much.
Alrighty, and I'll leave all of his stuff down in the show notes below or in the description box, though. But yeah, that'll basically do it in terms of my episode, though. So if you really like this video and you have me watching this on the YouTube side of things, make sure to go and hit that like button. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell. That way you can stay up to date on all things video game related. I feel like talking about and discussing. If you happen to be, one of our people that happen to be watching this podcast on one of your podcast servers, the audio only version, though, or if you haven't been watching us on YouTube and you're curious about one of those forms, yes, I'm on Google, Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, yes, even on iHeartRadio, so you can listen to us here in the car if you want to so choose to do so. But yeah, I got a lot of different avenues where you can be able to listen to any one of my podcast episodes on whatever podcast server you like as your personal choice or preference, though. But yeah, that's truly gonna do it in terms of my episode 69. So remember, y'all, until we're a video I make next, and until my next episode, that being my ZardCast episode, it'll be episode 70. My goodness. All right, y'all. Well, I'll see y'all later.